Welcome gamers, welcome. We're going to be playing some more Distant Worlds 2 today. This is Worldly Wednesday. It's actually Thursday for me. Still playing as a Gizarians. I've sort of forgotten what we're up to be honest. I know that we're at war, you can see up through here, war progress with the Karamoja Royal Dominion is running at plus 13k at this stage. I think we sort of outclass them, but we do have to be a little bit careful. We'll have a bit of a look and see what they're doing and what opportunities we have. I don't really want to be having to go and defend other cities, not other cities, other planets, all that much. So I don't really want to be expanding much beyond where I am. Ultimately, the main threat is going to be the Miletus force, which is likely to declare war again fairly soon. And we'll have a quick look at that. So the other one I'm most concerned with, I think when we get another opportunity to end this war, I don't think there's anything really for us to be gained by being at war with the Karamoja, is that what they're called? Yeah, the Karamoja Royal Dominion. And I'll just talk a little bit about where they are and what they're doing. So anyway, what we end up having is, we've turned off the civilian ships, by the way, just to sort of make it so it's a little bit less busy on the actual map itself. So we did that in the last session, so we're just looking at military ships and, so I can accidentally click on different things at different times, like there should be there's heaps of ships sort of running through here, which if I just click randomly, I'm likely to then pick up like cargo ships and so on and so forth, freighters. So I could turn them back on, but I think I'll just keep them off for now. Actually, I might turn them back on just so we can sort of see where they all are. So I'm just going to go to the game menu, going to go to settings and scroll all the way down to the bottom and just turn on Save Civilian Ships. Yes, apply, and then that will then seed everything with the civilian ships in them as well. So all these little round circles here are civilian ships. Hi Avian Encounter, how are you going? And hi to anybody else that's joined us as well. So yeah, we've got the where are we? We're just going to have a quick look at the sorry, my mind's just going blank. I just had the little pop-up saying that we were just started streaming. So there we are. We actually we are streaming and we are live by the sounds of things. So our faction, I might just turn off the long-range scanners now, just for a little while as well, just to sort of clean up the just the overall look. Athfar is our capital city. We have hardly any presence in this region of space where we're just sort of slowly building up down through here. I do have opportunities if I did want to go and attack up into the north, but I'm sort of focusing more on the south. So most of my fleets now are sort of moved down into this region of space in around the Cardama system. The Cardama system is really our staging point for everything we're going to be doing out in the outer rim. So this is going to be sort of where we talk more about the southern rim. We sort of zoom back out. It's this region of space now that I want to start to control. It's going to take a long time to do it. This is one of these games where you don't just attack and away you go. It can take quite a length of time. You can see our money situation is pretty dire at this point in time as well. So we just have to sort of build up slowly. Now, in the current war that we do actually have, so we're doing okay here where we've destroyed 8 military ships. They've destroyed like one freighter or something like that of ours and one base. Our bases are worth more, like you can see they're worth 5,000. We've destroyed one of their bases, but we do have an opportunity now to start to raid into their territory and actually start to do even more damage against them. So we've brought up a raiding fleet, I'm pretty sure we have. We'll have a look at each of the fleets fairly soon. And so in through here we've got war mission, defend important colony. So we just need to keep Cardama 5 safe, which is not really a problem. That expires in 1.5 years time. So if we can keep Cardama 5, which we'll be able to do easily, like I'm not really concerned about that one. We're going to get a war score of plus another 50,000. At the moment we've only got 13,000. We get 5% Empire happiness for 1 year, and we increases the enemy war weariness by -0.5. We'll have to talk about war weariness as well. We also have war mission, destroy enemy mining station. This is going to give us a plus 10k war element through there. Now this one here is one that I do want to go and grab. Now where is that? It's way over here. So it's a fair distance away, but I do want to just go and take that target out. So this is like a bit of an easy win for us to go out and grab that one. And then we also have this one here, War Mission Research New Technology. to try to go and get the annihilating bombardment by the specified date, and you can see there that's like 15 years away, which is not going to happen. I'm just not going to bother bothering with that one. I shouldn't have accepted that war mission. You can actually reject them when they come up. Hi Vegan, how are you going? And Boland, hope you're both doing well, or hope everyone's doing well. This is our war weariness at -4. We actually have bonuses with war weariness, like we actually can stay at war for a long period of time, but the Karamoja can as well. So hi Klingzog, saying, hey Das, did we already go over the roadmap for Distant Worlds posted a couple of hours ago? I didn't know about that. Sorry, we haven't indeed. So let's go and have a look. I'm assuming it'll be on Steam. Most things are on Steam nowadays. I normally stop and have a bit of a look before I go in and check things out. Before I start streaming, but I didn't. This is 1 week where I didn't actually do that. Announcements. What's next? The roadmap. There we are. Wow. Okay. Well, let's have a look at this one. So we have now. There shouldn't be any real surprises in this, I don't think. First revealed during Slytherin Next in July, the new Distant Worlds 2 roadmap promises an exciting year ahead. Kick things off with the anniversary update and following up with a major update refreshing the Tekin and Harkonish in the autumn. So they'll be coming soonish. It's nearly spring, isn't it? It's spring in next week. For me, it's autumn for you guys, most of you guys, unless you're in the southern hemisphere. Winter brings the brand new expansion Shadows Rising, which while spring will see a major update following on the Actarians. So that's actually that'll be good. Actually, I love the Actarians. They're one of my favourite factions. And that's not all. The new DLC is already in the works. Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one. And then we've got to get ready to experience the new chapter in the universe of Distant Worlds 2. So this is what we end up having. Is that everything? Okay, there's actually a video. I won't play the video. If you missed the Distant Worlds 2 segment at the Slytherin Next event, that was on July. Okay, that's a long way off. Release of the anniversary update. That's what we've been playing for the last month, basically. And if you're in the, if you go and opt into the early beta, you then end up getting to play that one. The changes you get, they're not as dramatic because you're playing with them slowly as they're introduced into the game. Autumn, the next major update with Tekin and Harkonish refresh. So that's the, so that's not a DLC. Now, I thought there was actually new factions coming soonish as well. All right, the winter is, that's about 4 or 5 months away then, the game expansion. This is at the end of the year. So this is the next one coming up. Just the next major update with Tekin and Harkonish refresh. I don't know what that's going to be, actually. I haven't really had a good look at the beta forums for quite some time. Game expansion, major update with the Actarian refresh, this new DLC. I'm assuming that's that will be the new factions coming as well, a couple of new factions. But the Shadows Rising, I think, is the pirate expansion, which is going to be great. That's their big one. I think they're working really, really hard on that one at this stage. Looking forward to that one coming. Yes, okay. So there's not a real lot of new information there. Okay, that's fine. So how's the game doing now in terms of its 70%, 78% in recent reviews? Yeah, it's getting more and more popular, which is good. It's where it should be. It's a great game. I'll just have a double check and make sure that I am on the. Just open up my own Steam library. And Distant Worlds 2. I don't have the open beta running. I don't need to do it yet. I'll try to remember to do that at another time. Actually, maybe I should do that one. I'll just go back to the actual game itself. I'm just going off the screen here. We haven't done anything. I'll just go and exit to desktop. And I will actually, so that will then just change. I'm just going to go and right click
for
properties.
So long.
Oops, sorry.
We have waited.
Pause you. Actually get rid of you. And we'll just go back in. I'm just going to go and turn on the, where's my Steam, actual Steam library? Here. Should just close that one for a second. Go back in. So right-click properties. So if you're wanting to play the latest things that are coming back through, you can just go into issues of properties, manage. Yeah, no, it is properties, betas. Back in through here, and I'm just going to opt into the. Oh, it's actually not there anymore. All right, when they start to bring in, like if you do see notes, often there's an open beta, and that's the one I like to be involved in. So as soon as that becomes available, so yeah, I could have just kept it open. Sorry about that. All right, so there's no open beta just yet, but there will be as they start to introduce test things that they're happy with. That will then sort of come back through, which should be good. Okay, so let's now just go back in, reload it back in again. What a great game this is. Hi, Dr. Wolfshires, how you going? And Draven, and Bolin saying, fancy seeing you in here. And saying, hope you're doing fine today, Daz. Yes, I am actually. It's sort of funny, I've had a tickly throat for months now, and I don't know what it is. It's sort of, it's annoying. It's sort of, anyway, we'll just continue our game. And Thor, how are you going? How do you balance ship sizes in your fleets? It depends on, like, it more comes down to what I want to achieve. And so I tend to purpose build fleets, but then once you've got them sort of balanced the way that you want them balanced, you don't need to do too much else. It's probably a good thing to talk about at this stage. So at the moment, what we're doing is we're fighting against the Karamoja. We are aware of some of their fleets, for example, not all of them. Like for example, we can see that they've got a fleet down through here, their first defence fleet. And so it's important to have a bit of a look to see what the enemy has got and how you compete with them. And so this first defence force is actually, if I just go and click on that one through there, has a strength of 5,000, and that's actually fairly high for just 7 ships. So it's and if we have a look at this one, it's got a ship that is not of their design. Like these ones here, they've got 3 destroyers, 3 frigates, and then they've got like this heavy cruiser. There's no way they have the technology for heavy cruisers yet in the game. So they've picked this up maybe through. I think that they've actually found like a ship graveyard and have been resurrecting different ships. So a lot of their fleets have got these sort of special ships, which is why the strength is through the ceiling. And you can go and click on any ship that you're aware of in through here. This is the Castle 4 class. So this is the Fearless Defender is what it's called. And so their destroyers have got, for example, pulse wave cannons. And so what we can do, if we know that we're always going to be at war with these guys or at war with them for a length of time, we can then start to try to defend against what the pulse wave cannon will then go and do. So the pulse wave cannon is a weapon that is purely from essentially from the Wakaris, which is what this faction actually is. So it's a racial tech from their side of things. They've got 2 large pulse wave cannons. This will do a lot of damage over time. So you can see there the base damage there at close quarters is 60. At maximum range it's 30. But this is one of the most devastating weapons in the game itself. Having a quick look down through the bottom there, you'll see it's got an armor bypass there of plus 50%. That is monstrously large, and so trying to sort of take out their abilities is quite difficult. So that's going to be a hard one to actually sort of try to counter. So we have to swarm. We basically have to just keep our ships sort of operating against those sorts of things and destroy them. Now, the overall combat rating of this particular ship, you can see it's right on the very maximum size they've got for their hull. If I just go and exit that one and then have a bit of a look, its combat strength is worth 800, which is actually very, very high. If I just go back to this one again, look at this one through here, this is worth 1,700. So it's only really double. But if we have a look and see what this one is, this is a bit of an outlier where it's got like different types of sort of weapons. It's got shockwave weapons, but this is just going to be one of these sort of like ancient ships that is like super advanced. This is an Actarian ship. So this is like an ancient Actarian ship that they've actually been able to resurrect. And so that's what we're sort of seeing in through there. So this is an outlier. We're not going to have to try to really, like, it's just what it is. We're not going to really be able to do much against that one. But that's a very, very powerful fleet for such a small fleet. If we go and have a look, they've got another fleet in through here, for example. This is a 5th Strike Force, which has got a combat rating of 1.3 So 1,353. If I just go in and grab that particular fleet, this is the 5th Strike Force. So they're moving down towards the Shoagan system, and we do actually have a fleet there waiting for them. So we're going to sort of surprise them when they come in. And so they actually have, again, just a couple of frigates and a heavy frigate in through here. So the strike force should be, it's attacking, actually there we go, the Shogun Research Centre. And so it's going to be coming into a research centre that we actually have down in here. We've moved a defensive fleet across to deal with them, like a big fleet. And so just looking at what they have, they've got, again, a ship that's not really part of what they have. This is a heavy frigate, and if we have a look to see, this again is an Actarian ship. That's why I think it's a ship graveyard that they've found at some point. And they've also got Durasian shockwaves and things like this, which really no one's got access to at this point in the game. So you can see their damage is 100 with that particular shockwave. So very, very high damage with this particular weapon that they sort of do have on this ship. Now this is just an ancient ship, so destroying or capturing that ship would be really, really cool, because we'd then be able to make use of it. So that's maybe something we look at in this session, because this is coming in towards our location. And so we will have the opportunity to actually take it on, to try to destroy it, and or not even destroy it, just to try to capture it if we can. So we'll give that a bit of a go. It's going to be hard with a ship like that. So it's moving into where we've got a big fleet. We've got like 24 ships in the 3rd Defence Force, and you can see down through there our overall strength is 4,000. So it's less with 24 ships. It's less than the one over here with 5. But swarming is what we do. So playing as the Gizarians, we have bonuses with swarming. Then we have, for example, fleet targeting is plus 23% from swarm targeting, which is actually one of our abilities. We actually do target very, very effectively. We also have got fairly high boarding strength on all of our fleets. So I've sort of made sure that we can capture, because that's one thing that we try to do. And so the balance of this fleet, we've got 3 of our own destroyers. Then we've got a whole lot of heavy frigates coming back through, and then even a whole lot of heavy escorts as well. So the balance of these attack fleets, I've got a few extras that I've added in, like these cruisers, which we've captured from pirates. They're not super powerful, but they're good enough. And so if we have a look at our destroyers, so for example, you can see our destroyers have only got a strength of 161, nowhere near like what we're seeing with the Wekarus ships. And so we've been able to sort of steal a few different sorts of weapons. So for example, deal breaker beams, which do a lot of damage. But so we're sort of relying fairly heavily on these. These have got a shield bypass and an armor bypass, and so these are good once we sort of smack our way through shielding. And so they sort of do have an option there to try to actually bypass and then do damage to the ship itself. So these are fairly important. So at the moment, they're the only ships we have with the deal breaker beam. The deal breaker beam, I think, is Harkonish, and I think we stole that from the Harkonish. We're terrible at research, so we have to steal tech or find other ways to actually get hold of technology. Bolin saying they seem to have lots of resurrected ships. Yeah, they'll have found a ship graveyard. Okay, so Bolin's saying, wow, that's very few fighters. My enemy Gizarians have 4 destroyers and a fleet with 96 fighters total. Yes, what I have purposely done here is not deck out this ship with fighters, because I'm already right on the limits here with my sizing. And so I've just made it so that these ones don't rely on fighter craft. In fact, our whole fleet is only going to have very minimal. If I just press the back arrow. We do have 6 fighters, but they're only coming from this cruiser, this old pirate cruiser. So I haven't really popped a lot of fighters in this particular one. Having said that, we do now have the ability to actually put a lot of fighters on ships, and I'm tempted to build a fighter-heavy fleet as well. But it's not something we need to do at this point in time. So I'm just going to see if there becomes a need, and if there becomes a need, then I'll start to change things around. One of the things playing with any faction actually really is to just have a look at what their frigates have got, like their basic frigates, and it'll give you a good feel for what the faction is good for. So if you sort of start a new game with whatever faction you wanted to have a look at, just look at their frigate designs and like I say, start at, let's say, tech level 2 or tech level 1, and that way you'll get the frigates, and that way you can just have a quick look to see what they've actually got. So anyway, in this case we're mainly using heavy frigates back in through here, and so the heavy frigates have got just like rail guns again to break through shielding. So we want to sort of smack our way through shielding if we can, and we've just got basic Maxos blasters back in through here. Again, our frigates can end up having fighter bays, but we haven't done that with these. We're sort of at our limits here with their size, and even with the lowly old heavy escorts that we actually have, we're just using Thuon beams in through here, so just basic beam weapons. So it's really just firepower is really all we're trying to sort of get with these particular ships. So these are pretty basic with what we're doing. So it's just the amount of ships we have. For every ship we have in a fleet, we end up getting plus 1% extra targeting. So the bigger my fleets are, the better off I am, which means I don't need to be I don't need to be building ships that are good quality. I just need lots of numbers. And so we'll find that as we go through the fleets, that's my standard attack fleet. So if I go to the first fleet is where? Down through here. So the first fleet is back over through here. This is another large attack fleet. And you can see down through here, it'll then sort of show what the fleet template is, attack fleet down there. It's on manual at this stage because we're sort of just wanting to do things. We don't need to automate that fleet just yet. So I'm sort of using that one to do specific tasks. This is an area that we do have to try to protect. So the first fleet is down that way. The second fleet is operating from back over here. Now it's going in to try to help protect this area. It doesn't need to because the third fleet is already there. So I'm just going to go and tell it to stop and clear any queued missions, and I just really want it to stay back in here, to be honest. So I don't need it to go off and help out there. But again, you'll see it's got the 3 destroyers, a heap of frigates, and then a heap of heavy escorts. And these will all be heavy frigates now as well. So it's the second. The third fleet is the one that we've got waiting back into this other side. And so I've made their home base the Shoagan Research Centre, and so they're here just waiting for that ship to arrive. So they'll just defend this location and then try to take on those ships. We'll have a look at that when this one does arrive. So that's the third. The fourth is my invasion fleet, which I don't actually have any troops on board just yet, and so they're actually got no mission. We've been building up an army on at the Cardama system, which I'll talk about in just a minute. I don't need to go off and actually use that one just yet. It also is just set to manual. The fifth fleet is way back over here, which is just a small defence fleet. So just a handful of heavy frigates and 4 fingers worth of heavy escorts. So no destroyers in that particular one. That's the fifth. The sixth is back in through here, which is a standard attack fleet with no cruisers attached. And so this one here is just, again, same design that we've seen everywhere else with the heavy frigates, heavy escorts, and 3 destroyers. So we've got that one through there. The seventh fleet is on its way down to attack that particular war goal. And so at the moment they're set to manual. But then what we're going to be doing is actually changing where they're located. At the moment, their home location is the Epure spaceport, which I think is back in here in the Cardama system. I think that's the moon that we actually are around, and that's Cardama 5. Where's the Epure spaceport? It's Odessa. Maybe it's in through here. I know that we've got a moon that we've sort of set up. Yeah, Epure. And so once I automate this, it will then go back in and use this as its home base from this spaceport, and that's ultimately what I want it to do. Once it's actually gone and destroyed this mining station, I then want it to operate from here as a raiding force, and so its template is as a raiding force, and then we just set the actual role to raid, and it will then just go off and find targets from this location, which is a nice central location close to enemy territory. It's sort of where we want to be operating from, for long term into the game. Again, it's only a small defense fleet type arrangement that we have. back in through there. That's the 7th. The 8th is back over here as well. Another attack fleet just operating from Cardama. So I've got I've really built up the Cardama system. So I need one fleet for defending, one fleet for attacking and doing other things. And then I've also got my invasion fleet, all from the Cardama system. So the Cardama system is quite important. The 9th fleet operates from way back over here, and another defence fleet back into this other side. If I get too many more, my money's just going to keep on going negative, so I need to get my money back under control before I could do any more. I don't have any more fleets than that. So the question about the balance of the actual fleets themselves, for us, it's more just about small hammer blows rather than big, heavy-hitting sort of sledgehammers. Like we're just looking at little tap, 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 tap on different things to try to get what we need to do. So the fleets that we end up having, if we just go back into the military tab, which is where you sort of can manage your fleets from. So if I go to the military tab, I can then look at the actual fleets. That's the actual list of fleets back and through there. We can get a sort of a very clear indication here. We've got, actually that's interesting, we've got 3 generals sitting in the 4th invasion fleet. So they're just sitting there really waiting to be deployed, which I don't really want to be taking any other enemy planets yet, because it just means I then got to use a fleet to defend that location. So I'm not super interested in getting colonies in this war. I want to just cause as much damage as possible. So I need my fleets to be able to then go and do what they need to do. But if we go back, I'll just go back into the other ships back into here. If I go back into the fleet templates and fleet creation, you've got things, for example, like you got attack fleet. I don't know why they've got these ones with just escorts. I'm not using those, but these are the default ones that have come with the game. So attack fleet, but what I've been doing is just editing them to suit my purposes. So to get the balance of the way that you want it to work, if you go and click, for example, my attack fleet natively has 23. So let's actually do a bit of a deep dive into what we're seeing through here. So we saw there that we've actually got 3 destroyers. We've got 8 escorts, and we've got 10 frigates along with 2 fuel tankers. That's my standard attack fleet that we actually end up having. And so for every ship that we have in the fleet, we end up getting, with our swarm targeting, it just means we get that extra targeting factor. So if I had 100 ships, I'd have plus 100, 100% targeting, which means it would be sort of hitting really, really effectively. So the more ships we have, the better off we fight. And what we've got is I've got very specific designs. You see there that most of these have been set to the latest design for the hull heavy frigate. I'm not thinking of changing my role at all from the heavy frigate. I just want it to be a basic heavy fighting ship. And so if I have a look at it, I've got a whole lot of different things I can do with that one. And so it's important to actually pick the right one of how you want the upgrades and retrofits to then sort of be sort of handled. So in my case, all the frigates that I want in my fleet are going to be heavy frigates, and so I need to make sure that if they need to get a frigate, it's going to be whatever the latest design is for the heavy frigate hull, because I'm not going to be doing anything nuanced with that. You can see there it's got things, for example, like latest design for the role. That means any frigate, whatever the latest design is for any frigate at all, will then be chosen. For the latest design for the largest hull for the role means that whatever the largest hull size is going to be the one chosen. Now, that's also going to then flip around depending on what sort of frigates I then go and build. I then have the specific ones. I've got a normal frigate, which is the one that you sort of start with, or not start with, but that's sort of like the basic frigate. And then you've got the extra frigates, the heavies, the fast, and the fleet. I'm only using heavy frigates now. I was using frigates, but now I'm using heavy frigates because I can put more weaponry on it. So that's all we're going to be using. Then we actually have the specific names of the different frigates. So we have Assault Frigate version 7, which is my old frigate design. I've got the 2 others, the Fast and the Fleet frigates, named in through here. And then the Heavy Frigate down through here is the one that I'm actually using, is the current design that we actually are using. So I've only just got the Heavy Frigates. And so that's so I could be very specific and say, rather than just for the hull Heavy Frigate, I could go just keep this direction going, like if anything from this particular design stream, use that design stream to do the upgrades. But it's better to just keep it, unless you have an idea that you're going to be using different designs of the same class. And so when we have that we've spoken before, Boland actually mentioned about the fighters for the Gizarians. And so for us, the heavy frigate is something where I could design it ultimately as a fighter craft. I'll show you that as well when we with what we're doing through here. So I could make that. I could actually make a fleet that is very, very fighter heavy using the Gizarians. And so in that case, if I wanted to have a non-fighter class, I could then just choose heavy frigate. I could do that anyway, to be honest. I think I might do that actually. That means that we've got a very specific. Anytime we upgrade the heavy frigate design, that's going to be the design that we then sort of keep on taking forward with what we're doing. The escorts, again, latest design for the class heavy escort is fine because I don't actually have the ability to put fighter craft on that one. And then we have the destroyer in through here. And so I've built a destroyer called a deal breaker destroyer. And so I can either go latest design for the whole destroyer, which would be fine, except that I can put a lot of fighter craft on these ships. So I want to be very specific that this is a non-fighter. This is a non-mini carrier that we're going to then sort of be using. So the deal breaker destroyers, maybe we even design a fleet, not that we sort of make use of that just yet, but make an actual fleet designed around fighter craft, just in case we do need it. So deal breaker destroyer in through there is very specific, just means that train of destroyer will always be set up that way. So that's what we're doing. Up through here, the fleet role is attack. These ones you can't actually go and change. You've got a role. You've got invade, raid, defend, manual, or attack. But the fleet role essentially is going to be attack. This then changes how it then performs and what it looks for in terms of its automatic targeting. You can't add your own into there. They're just the ones. So attack is looking for major fights in what you're doing. So with the fleet role, attack essentially means when this one does come in, it comes in as an attack fleet. We can override that though. I'll maybe talk about that outside of it. Ship role, upgrade, up or downgrade disabled. So the roles of the ship and the fleet are never upgraded or downgraded to meet overall fleet requirements. So I'll just keep that one disabled. Trim access ships, this is on by default. I always disable it just so I can add more ships to the actual fleet itself. If you have that one enabled and you end up with too many ships in your fleet, it will just trim off the ships that are too many, and so we don't want that. And then auto upgrade obsolete specific designs enabled. So again, just automatically do the retrofits with how you're sort of doing. You can override. Essentially, you can override these things when you've got your actual designs. Like your fleet's actually out there. This is only really just for setting up for when you specifically create a new fleet. So we've got that one through there, and we've got our defaults as to the way that we want these to then sort of go and perform. So that's actually the way the templates work, which just means that if I go and select if I go and create build new attack fleet I can then go and choose where to build one, and it will then, if I've got the money, it will start to then build an actual fleet. Hang on, I'll just press escape. Yep, just get rid of that one. So the fleet templates are really, really quite cool. And you can add your own, so you can sort of go and chop and change as you go through. So my attack fleet is my main fleets because, as you saw there, our firepower is pretty weak overall. If I wanted to then create, for example, like a carrier fleet, a mini carrier fleet, where we're using destroyers and frigates to bring in fighter craft, I could purpose build that and then actually have like a different, like I could go and add a new fleet, for example. I might do that at some point actually. I don't know if I need them at this stage. We do actually have pretty good fighter craft, so it may be worth doing that soonish and even changing one of the fleets into one of those type of fleets. Let's see how we go, because we can always then just chop and change things. So yeah, actually I might just quickly show that as well. Like, so that's essentially how we're managing our fleets back and through there. The ship designs back into this other side. These are the designs. I'll just go through the way I like to set these things up. I wish the game would remember what your settings are, but in this case, click on roll, and then you actually can then got all your escorts together, all your frigates together, your destroyers, and so it just does it in alphabetical order from the different types that you end up having through here. Active buildable designs is the default for the game, which is fine. If I go into and wanted to create a new destroyer, so you can see at the moment we've got the deal breaker destroyer back and through this other side is the one that we're using with the deal breaker beam, and so that's one that we had designed. If I go in and edit this particular design, you see I can't actually, I've got existing ships, so I can't really do anything with this design, but it doesn't have, it's got 2 fighter bays that it can actually have, 2 hangars, one internal, one external, and so these are things that I can't make use of at this point in time. And they can be up to size 50, so I'm not using those because I'm already at maximum size. So if I wanted to go and create a, this cannot be changed because it's in use. If I wanted to go and build a specific carrier, mini carrier, I can also do that with my escorts as well. So if we're going to build one of those, at the moment we're just using sort of like, these are heavy hitting sort of ships to take over enemy ships. If we just go to add new, and we then just go back in again, just click on roll so we can sort of see the different types. If I go to my destroyer and then just, and you can see there the hangar bays. Now also for my frigates, I then don't end up having one hangar bay for my actual frigates as well. So all the frigate designs, which is unusual. Most other factions don't have this. And so we do end up having the hangars sort of basically coming through where we can have lots and lots of them. We are a faction that likes small craft. And so this is something we could sort of make use of. So if we go in with the we've got fleet frigates and heavy frigates, we end up with less in through here. This is probably a better overall design. If I just go and auto-generate new design with this ship hull, I can at least get all the basic stuff in there. So if I just go and do that one, and with our fleet frigates, at least that keeps it away from the current heavy frigate design as well. And so the things we actually have in through here at the stage, this is now empty, and so it's actually sort of made use of different types of things in through here. Let's just go and ditch all of the weaponry for starters. We do actually have iron sheath armor and Corvidian shields down through here. We've got the swarm targeting, which allows us to then do the extra targeting. Crystal sensors, and we're not using that one at all. Hi Sev, how you going? So how goes the war? Actually, I think we're doing okay. We'll see how we go fairly soon. Okay, so Valanis is saying, I had a big issue with 2 designs within the same class like that. It sent fleets into retrofit loops and kept spitting out fleets, creating hundreds of extra ships as they kept filling and changing ships. I'll show you where that loop is, because that is a trap. Yes, it is a trap. And so there's 2 areas that you need to fix, we need to look at to correct that. And I'll show you that now, because we're going to be doing exactly that with our destroyers. And it can be a little bit of trial and error to get it right, but ultimately if you are using the automation system in the game, it does help. So I'll explain how that one works. So maybe we'll just do a bit of a deep dive into building one of these particular the mini carriers back in through here, the carrier frigates, and then we'll make carrier destroyers as well. Now I've only got one area of destroyers that I can make use of, and so I want 2 buildable designs using the same hull. But anyway, let's just keep on going with this one through here. All of that looks pretty good with what we actually have. We've got the Acceleros engines back in through there. I'll just keep all of those where they are. We do have one extra slot back up there which we can make use of. There's nothing frivolous in any of the stuff that we're seeing back up that way. This is the internals. That's the engines. 3 engines will be enough. Weaponry we'll talk about in just a minute, but we need to go and pop in the actual fighter bay. So the way I like to set these things up, the first one is to show the filtering of what components are going to be displayed in this particular column. Sometimes there may be things that you don't quite get to see, and you may need to flip it back to all components, but generally I like to have latest per category and family. That way whatever is the latest design within a category or family, it will then show it. For example, in my components, I've got basic fuel cells. I've got the actually what I'll do is I'll do this one here is sorting, bay type and name. I like to go bay type, category, family, and then size. So forgetting about the name, because the name doesn't mean much, but the categories do. If I go and do that with all components selected, I'm going to get, for example, all the cargo bays shown, basic cargo bay and cargo bay. And so these are going to have very, very different cargo capacities that chew up the same size slot. So I don't want to be looking at this crappy old stuff that's only got 800 capacity. I want to be looking at the 1400 capacity. And similarly with my fuel cells, it shows everything if you don't change this column here. And by default, I wish that they would set it up so that you didn't see it. So for example, we've just got basic fuel cells. Actually, basic fuel cell is there, which has got fuel capacity of 100. At the moment, we've got a fuel cell version 2, 120. We've also got mega density fuel cells, which we found as well, for 150, which is what these designs are using. They're all size 10. If I just go and change that one to latest per category and family, I then only get shown whatever the latest one actually is. So if I go down to my fuel cells, see how it's missed out on the mega fuel cell, even though the mega fuel cell is better. This mega density fuel cell is better than the standard fuel cell. This is one of the things where this is technically the latest design we have for fuel cells, even though we've got these available. These were stolen from another faction, and so this is where you don't get to see these. This is a good example actually of where you sometimes need to flip this one back to be able to sort of see like all the components, just in case there are things like this that you do need. This is further back in the tech tree than where we currently are with our fuel cells. So, but I'll just keep it generally, putting it on that one there. At least you get to see what the latest designs actually are. So you'll get used to, like, there's very, very few elements in the game where it's not better to have it set up like this. But anyway, we'll just continue on. So with all the weaponry that we actually have, by doing this one, it puts them into like tractor beams. Then we actually have the close-in beam weapons back in through here, so WCLs. The interceptor weapons are in through here. This is point defense. The irons, the WIO class is going to be in through there, and then we have the standoff weapons, either missiles or torpedoes. Now, for building like a fighter, like a carrier craft, you need to be away from the fighting. So you don't want to be in the middle of the fighting. You're not going to be very strong because you're going to be running out of space on the actual on the design itself. You can see I've got 402 out of 490 at the moment. Where I can possibly put another engine if I had to, but I've got these 4 different areas in through here. I don't have any 360 degrees areas on the actual on the design itself, but I do actually have all these different slots. So I don't want these guys in the fight because they're not going to be able to really sort of fight all that well. And so what we're going to be doing is, I'll just show you the idea here is to keep at maximum range away from whatever you're fighting, and literally just stay away and let your fighter craft do the damage for you. And so in this case, we want to have the longest range weapon, which happens to be the concussion missile. And so you can see there it's at size 38. We've got one of those. I could use a size 19 and place on this particular design at the back. Maybe that would be okay. All I need is one weapon that's got like very long range. This is range 1800, and this is also range 1800. If I go and click on that one and hover over that one through there, we can see the difference between the two. All it really is it's like a double mount. And so shots per volley from just a single one is going to be 4. Shots per volley for the other one is 8. So just to keep the size down, I can then just pick a small concussion missile. I can place it on that rear slot if I wanted to. So let's just go and do that. And so we've now got concussion missiles in there. If I don't do anything else, that is now my maximum range. If you can double check all the others and just check their range. Actually, that one there, the Epsilon Torpedo, has got even a bigger range. That's unusual. Oh, they're version 2s. Okay. Yeah, so that's actually better. That's even better again. And it's also smaller. So we'll just go and throw an Epsilon Torpedo in there. What I'm looking for is that surprises me actually to see those in there. So that should be. Now I'll just double check. Interceptor missile there is technically 2010. Actually, no, it's not. It's only 1,200. But none of the others are going to be close to that range. And so these Epsilon Torpedoes here are at version 2 are actually at quite long range, at 2,000 range, and so we want just one weapon at long range. Like we can put other weapons in here, but the goal here is to then change the way that this ship actually then works. And so what we end up having is the engagement range will be okay. Attack stance against weaker targets. We still don't want it to close in. Now, we've got a few different things we can do through here. Aggressive means move into the closest you can to the ship to get the maximum bang for buck for whatever weaponry you actually have. In our case, if we had kept it on aggressive, this ship would keep on moving as close as it could to its target, to then sort of be able to get the most out of the actual Epsilon torpedo. So it would actually close into point blank range. Neutral means just sort of try to get like a balance where you can at least get all of your weaponry to fire on an enemy ship. So if we had like a combination of the Epsilon torpedo and we also had some different beam weapons, it would move into a position where all the weapons could fire on the target. And then cautious means just stay at the maximum range of whatever your longest range weapon is. And so that's what we want for a fleet carrier, is to go cautious. Evade just means stay right away. So you could do that as well. But cautious, I think, sort of works out fairly well for this one. So we'll just go cautious. And we could then go, like the attack stance against stronger targets, we could either go cautious again, just stay at maximum range, or we could just go evade and just keep away from the actual fight. Let's go and do a cautious and then evade. That just makes it so that it should stay away from whatever its target is. Now, having said its target, if there's another ship that is closer than its actual target, it won't look at that closest ship. So just be aware of that as well. You may it should be able to look after itself reasonably well, but that is a factor to consider. So retreat when, I always like to have the 20-50. So shields below 20 and armor below 50. So escape quickly, so don't hover around. Like by default, it's 20% of the internals damaged, but we want to make sure that we're leaving so we can fight another day. So we want to sort of leave early. Invade colonies immediately won't affect us, and these are like different areas as well, which we don't have to really worry too much about. So that's what we end up having in through this other side. So that then sets up for this one to stay back away from the fights, which is important for these sorts of designs. We're going to go down now to the fighter bays down through here. Now we actually have medium starfighter bays down through here, which is the standard one for the game. But we also, because we stole that tech, but we also have our medium hive hangers, which is what we actually end up getting. And what you'll see through here, these are all size 50s, like both of these. Size 50 back and through there. The fighter capacity for these is 6, the fighter build rate is 0.5, and the repair rate is 1. For us, it's we have a fighter capacity there of 8. The fighter build rate is 0.38, and the fighter repair rate is 0.75 per second. So if I hover over that one and have a bit of a look, so we can actually well, it's showing us there that the medium starfighter bay is better at building and repairing ships, but we get 2 more extras with what we're then doing with the fighter capacity. So our medium hive hangar is ultimately better to go into fights with. So even though it's slower to sort of then go and rebuild them. So medium hive hangar, we have to then place it in the hangar slot. Bang, that one's now in there. And so we're up to 467 already. And really all we now just need to do is just go and make sure that we can sort of try to keep the rest of whatever we're going to be doing on this design cohesive and able to sort of protect itself. And so just having a bit of a look at what we actually have through here. So we've got a fair bit in through here we can then sort of go and add in. Like we've got, what's that about? Oh, it's only 20. So we don't have a real lot we can then go and do. Let's just go back up into here. We need to get I do like to get the Sentinel multi-beams. If I go and throw them, so for example, one on that side, we're up to 478, throw another one on that side, we're up to 489, which basically means we're at maximum size now. So that's just got some point defenses there. If other enemies come up against us, we're not going to be able to really defend all that well, but this is actually now a design that will sort of then work for us. So this is the, just call this one the frigate carrier. Now I'm going to save this, and then we're going to go and fix up the problem that Valanis had mentioned. So at the moment, you can see there that the other designs that upgrade to this design, the Assault Frigate version 7 and the Yartos Fleet Frigate. This is why you're getting the loop. And so this design upgrades to the latest design for the largest hull for the role is not what we want. What we want to do is we are going to be using the frigate carriers, but if I go back into here, we don't actually have the design that we're building in here just yet. And I do want that to, actually, there we go, latest design for the role, frigate carrier in this case, is the one that we actually have. Latest design for the role. That's not right just yet. Let's just leave that off for a second, and we'll just save what we've got. We'll come back and edit this one. You can edit this at any time. That's why when you do actually have, and this then applies to all ships of that particular design. So when you upgrade this becomes essentially the, well, for new ships, it's certainly what you end up doing, but the actual upgrade retrofit path then overrides everything. So you can do this with existing designs. So you can fix that problem just by using this area. So if we go and save and exit that one, this is a bit convoluted, but that's sort of like the frigate carrier becomes for me the active design now for there. We still actually have our we've still got another fleet frigate design back in through this other side as well, the Yartos, which we're not actually using, but we do. A heavy frigate has not been allocated. So what I don't want to have happen is I don't want my my heavy frigates to then go and form themselves into fleet frigates. So we just need to go back in and re-edit this design. And so we're just going to go and check. So this design upgrades to the, actually it does sort of show it there, latest design for the largest hull for the role. Should show up in here. I'll just go latest design for the hull. Is the hull is what we want. The hull is the in this case we're using the frigate carrier is the name of it, but we're actually using the fleet frigate is the actual hull type that we're actually using. So by default it's going to that one through there, but we should be able to chop and change it. So this design upgrades to, that should still be okay. I'll just go and save and exit that one. So yeah, that one's all right. If I go now and build I've only got one destroyer role that I've actually got that I can play with. So you can see that one's a fleet frigate. We do have a second fleet frigate design back out through here. I could make that one obsolete because I'm just not going to be using it. So I'll just go and click on that one to make that one obsolete. That way it's not going to be sort of managed at all. So we'll just get rid of that one. So the fleet frigates will be dedicated carriers, so frigate carriers, and then we'll go for the destroyer carriers. So if we go back into add new, in this case we'll go to the destroyers, and so we've got the same sort of deal in through here again as well. We'll just go and automatically generate new design for this particular one, and you can see there this is latest. This design upgrades to. In this case, we want to go and ultimately build our own design and sort of have it so that it ends up sort of going to its own type. We'll have a look at this again in a bit more detail. It's a bit convoluted the way this one does actually work, but in this case we're just going to do the same sort of thing. We've got 2 empty slots inside. Got all the basic 3 empty slots inside, only 2 engines back and through here. That doesn't really matter that much, to be honest. We've then got all these. Let's just get rid of all of those stuff, and then we'll come back into it. Only got 2 armor. I may change that. This one actually has come in by default with 2 medium hive hangers already, so it's already got the capacity for for actually being able to bring in like a lot of 16 fighters per destroyer. So we sort of are okay there. In terms of the other slot, we've got crystal sensors in this side, which is sort of like a short range scanner. If I just go back across, sorry, I just picked the wrong one there. I'll just go and get rid of that. So we do actually have the targeting, where are we? Starfield generator. These are all the different ones we have. We should have our own in here as well. Got long range sensor array. I don't want that on these sort of ships. I'm just going to go back to the all components again. Just have a quick look and see. Swarm targeting. I'll just go and grab this one again for our, because it is sort of like specific for our faction. Then we just go back and turn that one back down to the smaller list. Generally, the smaller list is all you need. And so. So that sort of sets us up fairly well. In terms of the iron sheath armor, this is sort of like fairly basic, like fairly good armor. You have flux hardened armor there as well, which has got better ratings. But this one does more iron. This one helps against iron attacks. I'm just going to add that one in there as well. So we've still got 100 that we can now go and just place in with the weaponry or with another engine. So if we can just go back up to the Acceleros engines, probably want to sort of keep them relatively fast. So we're up to 527 now. Definitely want to go with the long-range torpedoes again. So these are size 30, and we have a few different areas in through here. So I'll just go and we have got a fair bit there. I'll just go and throw one of these on the actual ship itself. So I'll just go and throw one Epsilon torpedo on the side. We also want to make sure that we do end up with the point defense. So the Sentinel multi-beam is sort of like our longest range one. We have a 360 mount at the back there. That still gives me another slot there. I could even go with another large torpedo. And that takes me right to the limits there. So that will do us. So that way we're sort of, you've got the torpedoes coming in off the side. And so in this case, yeah, that's actually a fairly good little design actually with what we actually have. We don't need all the internals. Everything else is looking good there. So this is now just going to be, it's going to then be going back to cautious. Again, stronger targets, evade, retreat at 2050. The invade colonies immediately is okay. Core, that's all right. And so in this case, this design upgrades to. Now the latest, it's got the, this is called the Choden 3. I'm just going to go the latest design for the hull. It's not really the right. I'll go still hull. It's going to be wrong because this will be different. But I'm just going to call this one the destroyer carrier. So we've now got two different ships which are essentially going to be able to take in lots and lots of fighter craft into fights. So if we just go and save and exit that one. Now at the moment I've now got two active designs, and this is now my most recent destroyer. Like this destroyer carrier is now my most recent destroyer design. And so the danger is that all of the deal breaker destroyers will now want to upgrade to this one because the date you can see is like there's been like a lot of time between these particular designs in through here. And so what I want to be doing here is making sure that this particular one, if I just go and edit this design, so so you can see there this design upgrades to latest design for the largest hull for the role destroyer carrier. That's not what I want. I want that to in fact I'm just going to go none, I think, in this case, because I don't want this design to upgrade to that what that actually is. But within the fleets, I want it to maintain what it's going for. So it might be safer to just go this design upgrades to, and then just go none, because it's only going to show the most recent things for the actual that we've just designed in through here. So none is going to be a better one there for the retrofit path. I'll just go and save and exit that one. And so you can still make those changes. I'm going to do the same back in through here and just go back in and edit it, because when we go and change the other ones, so other designs that upgrade to this design, there's a few other different, you can see there a lot of the old designs actually by default move across. We can actually go through the list. It's got the deal breaker destroyer, but not the version 2. The version 2 is out now, no longer where that one goes to. So in this case, I'm just going to go into none there as well. So this design upgrades to nothing. So it just basically sort of stays with itself. It'll still upgrade within the fleets, but just by doing that, it stops it from being part of the list. And just to sort of test that, if we just go and save and exit, and just go back into the deal breaker destroyer and through here again, and just go back into edit, and then go and choose the latest design for the hull, for example, for the destroyer carrier in this instance, and just go and save and exit, and then go back to the destroyer carrier and edit that one and have a look. We should see the deal breaker destroyer version 2. There it is down there, and we don't want to see that in that list. So that's why we want to go back. So I'll just go and cancel that one, go back to this guy. So this will then stop that loop that you're getting. So what's happening is the individual ships are now wanting to like have their own retrofit path. And it's actually cool the way it does work, but it's just a bit convoluted. So just make sure that they're none if you've got competing designs. So save and exit. And so that will then mean that these by default won't actually upgrade to anything with what they're doing. You're going to have to sort of manually control it, or you can then go into your fleet templates and just tell the fleet templates. Like in this case, we've got the attack fleet. If we go back in and edit that one, so this any destroyer inside an attack fleet will automatically now go to, and upgrade to the Deal Breaker Destroyer version 2. If I go back into here, the latest design for the largest latest design for the role, if I do that one, it will then go to the Destroyer Carrier. So they're the two active designs. By being specific in here, it keeps that side going, but when you're getting like hundreds of ships, that's what happens if you end up in a loop where what it will then go and do is, it's hard to sort of explain, but you've got 3 destroyers in the fleet. The ships themselves have been given a role to then go and upgrade to whatever the latest design is. The latest design is not of the class that they've been designated for in here, which is actually, this is sort of the class that we have for this particular fleet. So what it then will then go and do is go and retrofit to the new design. It will then say, hey, I've got 3 ships here that shouldn't be here. Let's get rid of those ships and get another 3 of the Deal Breaker destroyers coming in. And then they come in and it's got, hang on, we get designed as carriers, and it goes into that cycle of building. So even though it's not good the way it does ultimately work, but you do have to change it in both those areas to sort of fix that. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, that's sort of the way around that one. Just going to grab myself a drink of water, be right back. Okay, so we've now got sort of like these. Now that we've actually done these templates, I'll just go and close that one down. Let's go and create a fighter fleet, a carrier fleet. So, and I don't know what role I want them to have. They do have to have one of the designated roles. But let's just go and add a new one in. I can edit one that's here, but let's just go and add a new fleet in as a carrier force. And so we're just going to call this one the carrier fleet is going to be the name of the actual fleet itself. And we then just go through and just set it up. So the fleet role will be attack. I think I can sort of change it. Invade's not right. Raid. We could have them as raiders. We could have a little raiding fleet. Let's go and do that. The ship role, upgrade or down, up or downgrade. I'm just going to leave that one where that is. Now the raid will it will sort of protect itself to a degree and only really go after sort of targets of opportunity. So let's just leave it like that. Trim access ships will be enabled. In this case, I want that one off. I want it disabled so I can add other ships to it if I need to. So it's sort of one of those things where it'll, and if you have this disabled and to trim the excess ships, this is again where you could end up with like lots and lots of ships that end up sort of in this particular area. But usually if you have that enabled, which is on by default, and you've got that loop happening, it will eject the ships that are of the wrong design. That's why you end up with heaps and heaps of ships that you just don't want. And so we should have now fixed that up with what we're doing. But I'm just going to go in and disable that anyway. That way it'll keep that off. But that's another thing that does lead to that cycle of replacing and designing ships within the fleet. Auto upgrade obsolete specific designs enabled. So yep, that'll be okay. I'll just leave that one where that actually is. Fleet engagement range. This is the defaults. We can override these. So this will be same system. Allow position reassignment. So ships, that's okay. Fleet retreat strategy. When the enemy strength is 100% greater, I'm happy with that. And formation, I'll go with very tight. That's going to be okay as well. So I'll keep them all on default. That's all okay down through that side. I'm just going to go and add items. And so we do want to have escorts to defend the fleet. And so, and then we're going to be wanting to put another couple of elements in there as well. So we'll start up the top here with the destroyers. And so the specific design we want in this one is our destroyer carriers. So we're going to have those in through there. We're then going to go into frigates, and we're going to go in with the latest design is, well, the one we want is the frigate carrier. So we're being very specific about the actual ships that we want. Be aware that latest design for, like these latest design for roles, etc., and stuff, that can chop and change. I could have gone just with my fleet frigate, because that's going to, I'm really only using that for the frigate carrier. But by being specific, that whatever train that goes down, like as I upgrade that particular group of ships, that will then be consistent all the way through. And then the escorts, I just want to go with the heavy escort, which is my basic escort design. So to get an effective carrier force, I'm probably going to need like 3 destroyers. I'll just grab maybe the same number of frigates, or maybe even 1 more frigate, and maybe sort of like 4 of the escorts as well. So that will then sort of go and do us. So the escorts will, that's sort of how we'll sort of set it up. So we end up with, 11 ships in these fleets. So that will do. We don't need to do anything else. Carrier fleet, just go and close that one down. And now we actually have another raiding force called a carrier fleet in here, which I can then go and build. And so the maintenance on that one is 3,000. When I can afford it, I can then sort of start to build these ships. It's going to cost me 86,000 to build that particular fleet itself, but that one should now be fine. Like, it should now be able to design and do its own things. Let's just now go and test the theory by just going and letting the game run for a few seconds. All right, so we've now done that one. I'll just double check that that one's now not doing anything. That's okay. By doing that, we're now starting to lose this one from the long range scanners. If we now just go back into the any of the big fleets, what I don't want to be seeing is retrofit. So at the moment, that's all okay. It means that these aren't trying to then go and retrofit to that new design. So I'm just double checking to make sure that we don't actually have like any of these fleets now wanting to be retrofitted to the with the new class of ships that we've actually got. So that means that everything is okay. So just double check that one again, just to make sure that that's actually not happening. So there we are. That's sort of like just we've now set ourselves up to be able to then go and build carrier fleets. We're using the Gizarian carrier fleets, and so ultimately we end up with a lot of ships, a lot of fighter craft coming in with those carrier fleets. They're going to be fairly destructive, actually. That's going to be fairly cool. We may even ultimately change the 7th, which is operating from here, into a carrier fleet. We could actually go and do that if we wanted to, but I think I'll just leave it at this point in time. But anyway, that's just going to be one extra little thing that we'll then be able to bring in over time. But at the moment, our cash flow is pretty bad, but things aren't going all that well for us. Let's just wait for these ships to arrive, and then we'll sort of do this particular attack. Now, this is a invasion force coming back in. This is not something we have to concern ourselves with. These are the Miletus, which we will be at war with again at some point. They've got a general, 2 generals in through there. So they're using a Gizarian general. Actually, that's an admiral and a general. Yeah, so they're using a Gizarian admiral to sort of be in charge of that invasion fleet. They took this from us, so I do want to get that one back at some point, because I can sort of protect this from just one fleet down in through here ultimately, as long as I can move quickly enough. Our ship movement speed is slower than theirs, like of all these different ships. In fact, we're no longer sort of seeing those ships. So in we come. So this is end the war is the suggestion. I'm just going to decline that until we actually try to capture this big ship. Sorry, I'll just read the other comments. So we've got Thoris saying it feels like a chore that every time a new ship size is researched, you have to create the same ship roles again, and then again when the ship types get multi-rolled halfway through. I don't mind. I like that part of the game, because I'm then building very specifically for the for what I want, and so I just manage it through, and it then doesn't a chore at all, because I'm just managing these fleet templates, and so it becomes a it's become something that I'm not even thinking about what I'm doing really. From moment to moment, I'm just managing those roles and then just changing ships or changing fleets to those particular roles. The Shidar system, we're not sort of seeing too much in through there. What I might do is I might just go back to the first now and just go and change it back to its defending role. So I can actually tell it what to do. It's going to defend targets within here. I could even send it to raid, actually, just for a little while. Let's go and do a raid attacks. So it's going to do raiding within this range. And there's a lot of enemy mining stations in through here as well that we want to essentially get rid of. So I might as well just use this big fleet for doing that at this stage. We'll just go from there. I can change the range that they do. So just going back through them, that's just making sure that they've all got like a role. The fourth is doing nothing, but that's an invasion fleet anyway. Everyone else, except for the seventh, actually. Seventh is, we've got it on that mission going in. I might set that one to also then just go back to raid as well. It will still do this mission to destroy the mining station and then go back to automatically then go back to raiding. And it's going to have like a long range. Actually, it's a bit longer range than the other fleet. So this is a longer range raiding area. The 8th back in through here is defense, and then the 9th is defend as well, which is fine. So that's actually all okay. Let's just go and watch this attack go in. 5th Strike Force coming in towards the Shogun Research Center. That's fine. The enemy ships travel faster than my ships, so just be aware of that as well. Like we go and have a look at these particular designs. Again, we'll just have a quick look and see. They have actually, these ones don't. These ones travel at the same size as my ships. But the first one's going to come in. Just want to make sure that we are ready. So we've got our fleet waiting in here. Now they'll get an unpleasant surprise. So this is our 3rd fleet. There we go. Money is sort of starting to correct itself now, which is good, but it's still not good enough. Let's just wait and see these ones come in. Now they're ahead of the other 2 ships. This one is travelling. We have a quick look at this fleet again and see what it's got. So it has the Caldas hyperdrive. So it travels, its hyperdrive speed is 456. So it's travelling 56k faster than the other ships in its fleet. So it's sort of moving out ahead of them a little bit. And we want to capture this ship. Now they've offered to end the war. Now this is sort of something I wouldn't mind doing, to be honest, because my war weariness is getting up there. But I really want this ship, so I'm going to try to capture this ship before this runs out. Otherwise, I'm going to have to wait like a fair few more months. So let's bring this one in, and we may not have enough time for this, but we'll just go back in. This is going to be relatively strong. It's 736 strength just on this ship alone. So it's coming in. We're just going to go and get the 3rd fleet and tell it to go and capture this ship. So capture the Dark Firestorm. So we're going to be trying to destroy its shielding. So looking at this little that slider there. And if we can get to a position where we can get like our guys on it before, actually this isn't going to go. They're running away. Yeah, it's gone. All right, so they've gone. Let's go and end the war. So there's no point sort of keeping that one where that is. Actually, where are we? We accept this deal. So I'll just accept. Yeah, they're offering peace. These are a bit expensive. Yeah, they don't like us. And she's not terrible, you know. But I do want to I want to get my war weariness gone, so I'm just going to go and accept this deal, I think. all these mining stations they've got I would like to have. So we accept that deal. Our forces are standing down for now. So we'll actually just say goodbye. So that's actually now, they're now out of the way. So we now are no longer at war with anyone, but our war will just stay there for a little bit of time. So let's just keep that one where that is. So that was a bit of an unpleasant surprise for them. Now the third fleet, I did give it an order to go off and attack. So I just want to keep that one now set to defend that central region. So if anything breaks through, at least we have a force to look after these. I'm going to go and change this location back to Brightwick, which is another one of our planets. So just go to the third, right click on the planet that we actually have over through here. So we actually have a star base. I'm just going to make this one the home base for the third. So that then becomes their home base. When they go back into defend role, that will now be the hub of where they operate from, and they'll automatically now move back to Brightwick. And so so I'll just leave them alone now to look after these central areas. Under attack, that's okay, that was old. And this is the news around the place. So this 7th strike force has no longer got its target, so it's now moving back in. We're seeing defence forces down through here. These are extremely powerful. I'm going to go back to the first again and change that one back to a defend role for that region. But I'll still keep this one in raiding as a raider for the central areas. We need to get our money. You can see our war weariness is now sort of dissipating fairly quickly. And we ourselves are not really in a great position to start wars. I think we just have to wait until one of these forces decides that we're that they want to go after us again. There we go. It's that invasion force is now moving back. It's only got the 1 infantry, 1 armour on board. They've also been at war a lot with each other. There we go. We're seeing more colonisation happening. We don't want to be getting, like, we can't afford to really capture or take frivolous planets. I do really want this planet ultimately. Back on in the Cardama system, let's just see what we're building. So we have a heap of different units in through here as well now. Now we do actually have pretty much all of the facilities that we would possibly want. Actually, we've got special operations barracks as well. That would be good for us. I might look at that when we can afford it, but we just don't have the money for it at this stage. And I'll build that at Cardama. The Cardama forces we have here are a different faction. There we go. It wants us to declare war in the north. I'm just going to decline that one for now. Got a new spy, that's good. And if we have a quick look and see what we can do here. So we've got like a lot of different troops, like a heap of infantry. And I'm sort of use these mainly for defense. Like when we do take a planet, we can then sort of have like a lot of these troops in through here. But our troops that we actually have are generally pretty strong. So you can see we've got heaps of them in through here. These are fighting clans back in through here. And we've got war swarms in through here as well, which are cloned. Fighting clans, yeah, we've got fighting clans which are cloned as well down through here. So we do actually have cloning facilities. And you'll see down through there, the fighting clans are of these guys. This is the Naxilians, which are one of the strongest groups in the galaxy. So we took this Naxilian planet, and so we're actually now getting the troops we're building here are very, very strong. You can see their defensive strength there of 223, and the attack strength of 148 for the infantry. And if we go back to our war swarms, it's only 159 and 106. So we end up with a much more powerful fighting group if we use Naxilian soldiers with the fighting clans. And so some of these were before we built some of these up before we ended up getting the clone ability. So we can pump out these Naxilian troops very, very effectively. So they become our better troops for us. And this is like our major location, our semi-major location here in the Shidar system. We're seeing defence forces now moving back away into different areas, but they're going to be trying to establish. There's another smallish world there with the that we do want to be taking at some point. But I just need to make sure my money is really we're on top of the money properly. we've still got negative happiness for another 4 months, just from rivalries. That happens about every 5 years. We end up with an event like this. So we're trying to get structured research and get the Science Academy. Again, we're not going to. I'm starting to now get the positives in through here, which is good. We're sort of relying on bonus income at this stage. Now the raiders in here will just look for targets in around this region, but it's mainly for when the war starts. So I want them really, really, really active, just taking out different bits and pieces. When I've got the money for it, I may switch them across and retrofit that particular fleet, the 7th Fleet, across to being a carrier force. Yeah, they've got lots and lots of strike crafts and things. They've really looked after this region. These travel really fast through space. These are the Declare War on the Alara. No. Our focus really is back down in here. Here comes that fleet, which is now limping back home again. It's just had nothing going for it. So it's now just a matter of just waiting for opportunities to come up, waiting for events to happen to us. This is a good sign. We're getting our cash flow positive. Still got this negative happiness, which essentially means negative cash flow. Got 11 colonies at this stage. Just let the spies just do their own thing for a little while. We're getting the long-range scanners. There's not very many other factions with long-range scanners at this stage, so it does give us an opportunity to see things like quickly before they become a big problem. We've got like this range in through here of nebulas, which sort of stops us from having to deal over through here in any sort of meaningful way. But everything looks pretty good for us. Got the 2 different fleets in there now. So the 1st is now automated, the 7th is now automated. Yep, so they're now just doing their own thing. So the fleet roles are different. Like the defence fleets will then look after infrastructure, the raiding fleets will then look for targets. So with the 7th, for example, like if I do decide to change that one into a carrier force, we're going to end up with more frigates in here than what we actually want. So these would then we'd probably have to get rid of them. I could retrofitting these to the fleet frigate design that we've got would be a bit of a pain, but I can just change the template. You can see there the fleet template is raiding force. I could change that to carrier fleet and then actually allow all the changes to then occur. So they evaded detection. Oh, that would have been good to get. So hopefully we do keep on stealing stuff. Like we're sort of looking to try to capture as much as we possibly can. Our money is still, just dribbling along, so it's not fantastic. So actually Bolner was into saying species tech and smaller rail guns are obscured by the way that we've got the filtering set up. Yes, it is. Some of them are. Just like the Specialised Explorers scanner, Deep Explorer and Long Range Sensor, you set them to upgrade to none and only set it to other designs when you make an updated one. Yeah. Avian is saying it's at this point some kind of visualizer for the template tree would be nice. Yeah, that's a good idea. That would be good. Actually, because it really doesn't. It would be nice to see where they all go. Particularly if you've got existing designs, the existing ships out, in play. Hi, Heart of Mithril, how are you going? Yeah, some of the vaults are so good for clutch peace deals. They're useless. They're useless for them long settled planets, but 300k overcomes even bad war score. Okay. And back on YouTube. Thor is into saying there's fleet frigates, heavy frigates, etc. Yeah, I hope we answered that question. Sev saying, seems like I need to move to YouTube side again as Twitch keeps on chugging for me. Oh, it doesn't really. It's weird. I don't know what that would be. Having to sell some secret. I'll just decline that one. So seeing different designs now sort of coming back in and out through different areas. Carlo Kalomka is saying, just watched some of your tutorials and saw you were live. Thank you for making that. It's not a problem at all. If you've got any questions, just sing out. One of the things I like about these sessions is we can sort of look at different aspects of the game. Because there are a lot of things with the game that there's often an easy way to do things, or it sets up an easy way to play the game. If it's sort of set up different ways. Now we've got pirates attacking down through here. That shouldn't really be able to do much. Not sure where that one has gone, so it's now disappeared. There's just pirate ships around the place. Discovery. Yep, so nothing much there. Remove outlaws. Nope, decline that one as well. Rob's saying not particularly interested in this game, but dropped in to say thanks for all your Shadow Empire tutorials and Let's Plays. Oh, thanks for that. Yeah, that's a good game. I'm looking forward to the new updates for that game as well. New mining station completed. That's okay as well. So we can change the messaging as well, like if we're sort of wanting to do different things. So we don't have a real need to do that just yet. I'm sort of happy with the way that we've got everything sort of set up, with the way the game is talking to us. So where are they moving off to? They're moving further out, away from what we can sort of really... There's a research centre out there, which I wouldn't mind getting that one if we end up at war. We will end up at war with one of these. Strike Force, this is one of their raiding forces moving in. That's that raiding force still trying to come back out. My Letus have got like the 11th Invasion Fleet back in through here, which has now got only one extra armour there. Metzali has been conquered by the Daots. If we go and have a look, this will be a planet. So this is a Mortalan planet that has been now captured by the Daots in this region of space, way over here, so miles away from where we are. So we don't have to really worry too much about it. But there's wars going on all over the place. Finally we get a scientist. So let's go and have a look at this particular scientist. So he's now come into this location. I want him to go to an area where he can then operate fairly effectively. If we go to characters, or even if we go into our science tree, we can then actually have a look at scientists. We only have this one. We're pretty bad, and so we do want to. It's at Athfar 1, which is our home world. We do want to go and change this one to a new location. So I want to go and change it to be manually controlled, but I want to keep it in a science location which is fairly safe. So we only have 3 research centres, which is a bit of a problem, and they're all a fair way away from home. I think the Shaogan is sort of in between where we've got all of our fleets. So let's go back to that one. This is the one that was going to be attacked. So we'll get him to transfer it to that new location. So he's going to get there in a year's time. So he's moving away from the home world. So from that world there, and we don't know what his skills will be just yet, but he's moving all the way out to where is it? To here. So he's got a long way to go through these different territories. So he'll end up out that way, and then sort of we'll start to then boost our research a little bit more. We'll let things sort of develop. Callum is in saying I'm still learning everything. I will probably have a lot of questions once I understand what I'm doing a bit more. Yeah, it's one of those things where like it's important to understand that it's a simulation game. Like that's, I think that's the first thing you got to get your head into. It's a game where most of the time I just spend with, I'm not clicking on things. I'm just watching what happens. So a lot of it is just watching like a simulation actually play out. Oh, here we go. Now this is interesting. We've got an invasion force now coming in. The second invasion force of the Miletos are moving in towards our system here, but we're not at war with them. So I might just have a quick look and see what they've got. They actually have 2 infantry, 5 armour. Now they're moving into the Pasconi 2 mining station. So if we have a look and see, this will be number 1, that'll be number 2. So they actually have a mining station here on this continental world, which is inside our territory. We did take this from the Miletos some time ago, but this is actually where they're coming in to this particular mining station. maybe to retrofit. It's not a planet that they control in any sort of sense other than the mining station itself. So it's not an invasion force which is coming down towards our territories. And so we've got our two fleets actually sitting back in through here, a raiding fleet and our defence fleet. So we'll just sort of let that one sort of do its thing. These travel extremely fast. Actually, that is moving down towards us. But it's just using this to bounce off. And it's now going off somewhere else. Oh, hang on, Pisconi 2. This is Shadar 2. So the fleet has got like this here is its jump range. And so it came from a location maybe over here. And then it had to jump into here somewhere and then jump further across. Hang on, I'll just click and get rid of that. And so it's now going off in another direction. So Pisconi is over here. So it couldn't quite reach Pisconi with its jump range. So it's now moving across. That's not it. That's Pisconi 1 there. It's interesting. There's an asteroid belt. The asteroid belts don't get the numbers. So it's 1, then 2. It does actually have a refueling station here. This gas giant. So it's got heaps of Caslon. And again, these are sorts of areas that I would like to be controlling ultimately. So if we go to war, I want to be in a position to go and take these different locations. Got 8,000 now. I think we might change the 7th across to being a carrier fleet. So let's go and change its template to carrier fleet, and it's then going to it'll then be wanting to go and actually add in new ships. So new ships cannot afford to build 57,000 credits. And she'll go back to the old one. I'll just go back to the raiding force. That way, it's going to be too expensive for me. So in this case, we've got treasure recovered. So this is part of an attack. And accept treaty, no, decline. Yeah, so it's good. These heavy frigates can't just be retrofitted across. So I can't just tell them to specifically go and retrofit to something else. If I go and right click to it, yeah, actually I can do it. Yeah, I can do it actually. I can micromanage my way through this. Research Insight. Research Insight has occurred at Cadmon 4. This is the Boscaras. Great minds here, blah, blah, blah. So they receive a 10% boost in research. Now, typically the Boscara aren't good at that, but for whatever reason they're able to do it this time. So we'll request from us 6,000 credits. Nope, decline. I think we might do this. We might micromanage the 7th and just go through each of these frigates one at a time and just tell them to go and retrofit here to the carriers. So retrofit to a frigate carrier. So that's just going to do a specific, this is a ship only thing. Just go back to the 7th again, click on the next one, retrofit to fleet carrier, third one, retrofit to fleet carrier, fourth one, retrofit to that one there, and the 5th one. Okay, so they're all going to now wander off to the spaceport and just do the retrofits. And so we're microing a little bit what's going to happen with the fleet. Now, it's at the moment the 7th fleet has been set to its fleet role of raid. It will then go and upgrade back again because it's that's what it's supposed to be. I'm just going to go and change it to manual, just so we're not actually doing anything with that. We don't need to do anything just yet. I'll wait for those retrofits to occur. And so that's a fleet frigate, heavy frigate. So these are currently being retrofitted. Damn, just in the middle of this retrofit. So the Miletus have now declared war on us. And I'm sort of ready for them, but I was hoping that we'd have these things established before this actually happens. It won't take long. So I'll just dismiss that one and just go and pause. So what are we dealing with here? Let's just have a quick look. We're likely to, like, they've got a force down this way. It's the 6 strike force. You can see there how strong their fleets are. They're incredibly strong compared to ours. So they're moving to Vasanta 2, which is where? I'm not sure where Vasanta... Oh, there's Vasanta. Yeah, so Vasanta 2 in through here. They're sort of moving into one of these locations. Yeah, so they're going in inside a nebula. We won't have to worry about them so much. They've got a couple of destroyers and then a few different frigates. We'll just keep our fleet back in through here just to sort of protect everything. So the Shaogun may be targeted by them, but we're close enough to be able to fix that one up. The Odessa system now becomes a major target for us, and I do want to get that one back again. So I also want to be getting the Citadel system. So I'm going to change, I think I'll change the template for this fleet now, the 7th, to the actual carrier fleet. And allow it to then sort of get what it wants, because it does want to now go and get 2 building new ships for 11,000. New ships cannot afford to build, so there's 2 frigates and 2 destroyers, but we'll end up with 3 of these frigates anyway, and so when we can afford them, we'll start to then build the destroyers and just add them into the actual mix itself. So that will essentially sort of make sense for what it's doing. We've got a lot of forces in through here, like a lot of invading forces, which are the battle pods. The attack strength is 230, so they're fairly strong. And we also have generals here waiting here as well. So Falcons and also Gundek Butsak. So they're the 2 generals. It might be time, I think, to get ready to go from the Cardama and take the Odessa system. So we've actually got a few different fleets in through here. We've got the 2nd, the 8th, and the 4th. So the 4th is our invasion force. We've got nothing on board just yet. We do have more generals waiting. Actually, there's Falcons there, waiting of Epibet. Yeah, this one should be part of this fleet. All right, with what we're doing here, let's just go back in, and we want to just manage the fleets and through this. Let's manage the troops. So if we go into troop management, that's for building new troops. So if I just go back in again, and go to colony details. What I don't want to have here is I don't really want to have my my battle pods, which are built for attacking. You can see the attack strength there of 230, but only defense of only 92. So these don't defend very well at all, but attacking they do a good job. And so I want to ungarrison these troops so that we end up taking these with us on the like in the army itself. I want to keep the lower level troops. So we've got the fighting clans all the way through here. I want them to be the backbone of my forces, and so I want to drop them off at some of these other areas. I've only got 4 of these in here. That'll be enough, along with these others, to then be able to do what we have to do. So let's go and grab these. Everything is looking pretty good there. I do want to ultimately get the special operations barracks, which we need 20,000 for. But we're just not going to be able to get it just yet. This one helps us to land on enemy planets, but I just want to get that other planet, the old planet that we actually had. So we'll definitely go and move one of our attack fleets across along with this particular fleet. So let's just go and pick up these troops. So with the 4th, just give that the order to go and load troops at Cardama 5. So we're only going to have like some forces left over here. It's going to make us a little bit susceptible to attacks. Let's go and see. Yeah, they're picking up nearly everything. So I'll just come in and do that. So I've got accept war mission, destroy enemy facility. This is armor barracks at Rotooth, which is too hard. I'm not going to be able to do that one, so I'm going to decline that mission. This is at their home world. It's going to in this war, we're not going to be able to get to their home world to do that one. So just to sort of show what that actually is, this is their moon. This is a Rotooth, their home world moon. So I need to basically destroy everything that's protecting this world, and then go in and bombard it until we can destroy it. So that's just not going to happen. It's too difficult. So I'll wait for another one. They'll also get their own war missions, and then we'll sort of get defense missions for what they're doing as well. So we're seeing different fleets now moving around. Send a second to prepare to attack the mining station. So I can move these out, but I don't want to be leaving. I'm not going to do this because the second is it's got defense in through this other side, but I don't want it to be doing anything in through that into that area there. I don't know why it's got this sort of like this area into the Shamul system. I feel like I've sort of given it an attack directive or something somewhere. So have a look and see if it's sort of anything is listed there. Nothing in there. Yeah, it's got no missions. Yeah, I don't know. Don't know what that's doing. But I don't want to be moving off with these fleets. It's only my raiding fleet that I can afford to really move away from these planets because they just jump way too quickly. So I think we'll just keep on moving until we start to see. Well, we'll just do what we're doing. So I'm not going to decline that mission. The fourth now has 19 infantry and 4 armor. So that means the Cardama system is now a little bit underdone. So decline. It's going to keep on asking me this. I might change the order. We will eventually be wanting to do this, but not yet. It's just we've got so many of them in here, and we're going to be wanting to move these off to invade this system in here. We may be better off even taking this system. But if I take that one, at least I'm sort of then got, like I've got the extremities. I ultimately want to get this system in here. But these are all Gizarian worlds, which means that they'll sort of assimilate fairly quickly back into our fold. We're seeing different troops, different ships. There's a transport coming across to Odessa. This is only a small world. Ultimately, it would be a drain on resources. I found that this one was just way too difficult for us to take. I don't know if we can see it in here. But this has got like a planetary torpedo launcher, which is fairly strong. It's got a planetary bastion and administration center. It would be good. Unknown troops. There was a lot of troops here the last time we looked as well. But this would be a great planet to get. Got a research station there as well. So this is probably really what we would want to be targeting. You know what we might do is we might actually we might drop a few of the troops off from the 4th, and yeah, 19 infantry. What have we got left there? Only 4. Yeah, we'll be wanting to keep a few of them back in through here. Let's just go back to a few of the transports. And unload troops at Cardama. So we'll just get those specifically, and yeah, that only leaves 6. Yeah, I'll offload one of these groups as well. Unload troops. So we'll just micromanage this a little bit. There we go. Because they're close enough, it's just all instantaneous, pretty much. So I'll just go and set these garrison. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that one's actually. I'll go and stop that one from doing that one. Yeah, I'll keep those there as garrisons. So that will do. Now the 4th, we now want to move off and get it to now go off and reload over here at this system. So at the Epipur, if we go back into and look at the colony details in through here, we have a couple of units in here are set for. We want to keep a few of these as garrison, but we want to pick up all of these attack groups, these battle pods, and also the generals. So all of the infantry there has now been established. Let's just go and pick them up as well. So we'll just go back to the 4th and tell them to load troops at Epipur. You can see there the quality of the what we have with the Naxilian troops, so much better than the Gizarian troops. That one's then moving back off again with hardly anything on it. 6 armor. No, it's just going to keep on asking us this one. I'm just going to have to sort of micromanage this one a little bit. Oh, good. Now they've also declared war on this one, so we've now got a common enemy, which is fine, except treaty. Decline that one as well. Now I'll be wanting to smash their fleets if I can possibly do it. It's going to be a little bit tricky. Let's just go to the 7th. Still got these ships are retrofitting. Still got a couple of heavy frigates here which are trying to retrofit. Now what do you, oh, that's the 4th coming back through. And so I want to operate from this location, and I do want Citadel to be the one that we probably get out of this war, really. That would be ideally what we end up getting. Now, actually, let's talk a little bit about the enemy that we're actually dealing with in through here, because it's fairly nuanced. The game is actually different depending on who you're actually who you're fighting and who you're fighting as and who you're fighting against. So I'll just read a few more of the comments in through there. So Kalamka is saying, yeah, I love the living world and that I actually have to protect my roots. Yes, it's very interesting the way it does work. The Miletus are a really interesting faction. So if we go and have a look at them diplomatically, we can then sort of have a look to see who they actually are. And so you can see they're at war with us already. And you can see down through there, they've got high morale. Their war weariness is actually, for some reason, they've been able to get to +5, which means that we are already sort of starting 5 behind where they actually are. And so that's actually a bit of an issue. So when I go and click on them, this one just sort of stays up in through here where we can sort of see a little bit more about what they are. The Regeniocracy, there's the high morale, and through here is reputation factors. Unjustified war declarations against Miletus have given them their population increased resolve, giving them a net positive war weariness level. Now that we now know where that +5 came from. That came from the declaration of war from the Karamoja Royal Dominion, and so they've actually just declared war, and so this one here, the warness is on 0, but they declared war, which wasn't justified when they declared that particular war, which gave a big boost to the Miletus, which unfortunately means we now have to erode that before they start to struggle. Now, that's not really a major problem for us. We can sort of see through here, if I hover over the actual the Quaminos themselves into this other side, you'll sort of see that down through the list there, they're very good at research. Their diplomacy is poor. Espionage is poor, which means that they can be targeted. Reactive research is high. Trade income. But there should be I'm not seeing there where they're actually how they're going with their. It's not just showing me details about how they're performing in terms of their abilities with war weariness. But they typically struggle with war weariness fairly quickly, and so they have to get in and out of their wars in relatively short time. Whereas we have good resilience for that. If we go and have a look, one way we can do that is to just check and see the geneocracy along with the actual faction itself. If I go to the Galactopedia and open up the alien races and go down to the Quamino and have a look at their bonuses that they actually end up having. So that's the bonuses we just sort of saw through there. So we're not sort of seeing anything really sort of kicking in there about war weariness at all. And if we go across now to the government types and look at geneocracy, and just sort of see what they end up getting. So they end up with all research goes up by another plus 20. So they're getting plus 50% in research, but they're actually they don't have any real. There's nothing really of a big problem in that sense with their with how it's them sort of operating for for. I thought their war weariness would be a problem, but for us it's actually a bonus. And if we go back and have a look at our faction, so we are the Gizarians, and we look at the so we're a very aggressive faction, which means that we end up with our research is terrible, but our war risk reduction is plus 30%, so we can stay in wars for a lot longer, just natively our actual troops can. And if we then go back to our government type, and we are playing as the Hive, no, not the Hive, Cell Hedge, no, is it Cell Hegemony? What are we? I always forget. Government, yeah, cell hegemony back in through here. And so the cell hegemony for us is we end up with another war weariness reduction of another 10%, and all research then goes down again, so -5. So our research rate is terrible, but our war weariness, we can stay in wars for longer. So we're going to need to just sort of slowly, like we're going to have to grind them, their war weariness up, and that will then they're a big force. Like if we have a look at the where they perform, because they've been able to take a lot of territory now, and we want to start to get the important worlds off them and sort of make it difficult for them. If we go and have a look at the victory conditions, so we're coming in here and we can sort of see that they are actually about the same economy as us, which is interesting. So economy wise, population wise, we're bigger than them, and territory wise we're about the same. So that's quite interesting that they're actually I thought their economy it is bigger than ours, but not massively. So yep. So Empire's private economy generates 8% of the galactic total, 334,000. What does ours do? Yeah, 367,000. So so we're close. We're close economically with them. So that's actually interesting to see that. But their research, they just rocket ahead in research. So with them declaring war on us, we don't suffer any war weariness straight away, and now it's just a matter of trying to get the war scores up, which means destroying and defending with whatever we possibly can. Got to be careful of their big invasion fleets, so they're building extra ships through there. This is not anything to do with us, but they jump a lot faster than we do. So if we go and have a look at this, as we see them come through our long range scanners, you then just sort of see what they've actually got. They've got 6 armor there. Back in through here, they've got 2 armor and 1 infantry. Now their troops are also going to be fairly weak in terms of they're weaker than what we have over through here. So we'll sort of keep them coming, and ultimately we're going to be needing to get another fleet operating out this way as well. But I'll just keep all the fleets where they are, other than the 4th and the 7th we want to build up. So there's a slowly building. This is now a fleet frigate. That one there is trying to retrofit. And so what they'll be doing is, if we go back to the 7th fleet, we'll start to sort of see that they've got 0 fighters at the moment, but they will start to then build the fighters on their ships. So they're building 4 interceptors, 4 bombers with that particular grouping. Now, last time we looked at Citadel, it was extremely difficult to do anything with that one. Now, let's move into the Sejanus mining station, Sejanus 4. Where is Sejanus? Ah, there. They're going to invade that. That's actually okay. Alright, so we can sort of, because we've got the long-range scanners, we can see what they're up to. The long-range scanners are just so critical. What we're looking for is any sort of fleet movements in behind us, which they have done in previous wars. Okay, so we'll just wait. Now, the fact that we're not going to be taking that one means I could go and start to destroy the stations that we sort of see through here, like Praxis. So I will send the 2nd out now to let's move into Cardamom 5. Let's just go and smash this mining station here. Yeah, what is that one mining? Dantha fur, which is a luxury. So I could try to capture it if I wanted to, but I think I'll just destroy it. So we'll just move out. It's not an important one. They do have a smallish force out through this other side as well. Again, it's going to be a drain on their economy. So we've still got the 8th sitting back there to defend the Cardamom system. So they've also got long-range scanners. They can sort of see us moving around. Now, Citadel is sort of left out on its own, a long way away from everything else. I would like to see what's going on there. Let's just go back to the 7th. We're still building this one up. We're at 97% now with this Phantom of Anthva. We've only got 2 fighters built. It's going to take a long time for us to build up our fighter fleets. It's moving off to here to then bounce off. Now there's another research facility there, which would be good for us, a good one for us to go and get. Here we go. So we're now sort of seeing that there's a 7th Defence Force now moving in sort of towards the Cardamom system, but we don't know exactly what they're doing. So we have a look at the individual ships. Unknown mission. But we can see they're moving in towards Cardamom. Now, if we have a look at the actual fleet itself, 5,000. Our 8th fleet has got a strength there of 4,000. So if they're coming in to attack the world here, yeah, we've got these are all together. The 8th fleet, I need to keep them pretty much all together. So let's just go and move them to this location. They're sort of separate for whatever reason. They've sort of separated themselves, which we don't want that to be the case. I think if I turn around, I'll only be coming in to do catch up with the 7th Defence Force. Even though they rate higher than ours with only 6 ships against our 24, 22, we should still be okay. We're going to have the defence of the planet. So the planet has got its own... it's got a planetary ion cannon. It's got the, what else has it got? The high fighter base as well, with 24 fighters. And then also we've got the spaceport, which has got another 16 interceptors and bombers on it as well. And so we should be okay if that's what it's going to be targeting. It possibly will be trying to raid something. If it goes off to here, we're then going to have to go and try to chase it down. But we'll see how we go. This will be sort of like our first real test to see how we go. They're still over there, a bit damaged. But they're in through hyperspace. Their ships travel a lot faster than mine. If we have a look at the actual speed, they're 480 k. So the 3rd fleet of the Miletus has been travelling towards Epirus. So the 3rd fleet is in here, which is a major fleet. This is 15,000. So they're going to be trying to attack Epirus itself with a lot of troops in through this other side. A lot of ships. So they'll be sort of trying to do bombardment and stuff like this. This is mind-blowingly big and powerful, which is just something we can't really deal with. So we'll have to just deal with that one. We've only got like our first is only got a strength there of 4,000. So we're going to have to play it by ear a little bit and just to see how we do go. But I don't want them to be damaging us too much. The Epirus system does have a high fighter base and just an administration center. Anyway, let's just continue on. So I think they're going to be coming in to try to bombard us. This one should be able to pick up its troops before it gets there. But that's their big fleet. if we hover over that one, just select it, and zoom in, yeah, they're all together. So just coming into long range scanner. Okay, so research new technology. This is fast energy propulsion. I'll say yes, but it's probably not going to really happen, to be honest. The 7th, we now have fleet frigates all the way through. So they're all the carriers. And I just need, I can build 2 more now to build up even more of the fighters. I only got 5 fighters built. Let's just go and build 2 more, and we just need 1 more as well when we can do it. So let's just go and throw these into here. That one's under construction. Escalating beta. Actually, I hope that's not being built here. It probably is. Yeah, it is. I'm just going to cancel the construction of that one. Just do them one at a time, because if they arrive and destroy that, we then lose the money for it. 7th is now on going to Kartama 5 spaceport, which is what we thought was going to happen. So we'll just go straight in. Now this is actually where the attack is their attack is now coming in towards us. So they've got 5 ships over that side, and 1 ship which is coming in separate to these others. It's unusual. So for some reason one of them has sort of jumped out a little bit differently than where the others are. These are now all collected together, and so their ships just on their own, even just these little frigates, have got a strength there of 800 compared to even our destroyers with a strength of 161. But overall it still works out okay. Anyway, let's just go and get the 8th, and we'll defend this against this one here. Now I don't want to be moving too far away from these. I'm going to go down to slow speed, and we'll just sort of have a look to see what actually happens in through here. We should see a whole lot of fighter craft leave here, which is them. This is all of the fighter craft now leaving the planet. So they're now moving in to protect the world and protect everything else around it. So they're now moving off. They'll attack the fleet as well. We'll also see this one here will then sort of like its small craft should already be patrolling. They'll be around somewhere. Can't really sort of see where they are at this stage, but everything will now just be moving off. Let's go and destroy this one first. Just go to the 8th and just go and attack this one here. But these guys will all now leave as a swarm. They should be destroyed pretty quickly by these guys. And we can sort of check to see what they've actually got. They're possibly going to be trying to jump. Actually, it's not. It's going to be moving slowly through. This gives us a big opportunity then to be able to take them out piecemeal. And I want to use the spaceport itself, which has got a fairly high strength. A lot of that will be like the defensive strength, but it does actually have like a fair bit of weaponry in there as well. Ion bombs, intimidator, surge blast. So we've got to be careful that we don't get too close to where it's operating, and it will actually be sending out its own. Because as soon as this thing actually hits these runs, just going to dismiss that one. There goes the small craft. This one's now going to send out the big weapons. So we're trying to use point defense against these against the fighter craft. Okay, that was a big attack there by an ion bomb. We didn't actually get to see anything, but the defenses, one of its defenses is now down with the shielding, so it's actually now struggling. And again, we want to stay within the range of what's actually happening here, but ultimately we're going to possibly be damaging our own ships with the big attacks that do come in. Yeah, these area of effect attacks are going to ultimately be a bit of a problem. You can see they were smashing it with the attacks coming in from the spaceport. At the moment we've told all of our ships to close in, which means that we should end up with like when we see these others, when it starts to sort of wind back up again, with the ion bomb, it's got like every actually, where is it, the firing rate is every 10 seconds, 20 seconds, because we're playing on half rate at this point in time. And then the intimidator surge blast in through here does 80 damage. but it does friendly fire as well. And so it's 20 seconds for that one to fire, so that will be a bit less. We'll just have to wait for that one to sort of then go. So we're looking for anything that comes out of here at the moment is going to be the long range weaponry. It's basically destroyed. And that is one of those long-range weapons that's coming in. So that's actually an iron bomb. So we want to now move away with this fleet. We're not going to be able to avoid where that's going to go and explode, unfortunately. So we'll just move across. Let's just see the different ships. This one here is taking a little bit of damage. That one's taking a little bit as well. That one's okay. That one's okay. Let's just see what happens when the iron bomb hits. Nope, missed. That's okay. Now, this one's still coming back through. Now, are they trying to jump? What's that one there? That's the 7th Defence Force. That's more of them as well. They are jumping. Right, so they're jumping in close. And so these fighter craft will then have to turn around and move after them. So we have the light bombers moving in towards these different ships. And again, what I want to do is just really wait for them to hit the Cardamom 5 spaceport. So I'm just going to grab the 8th and tell them to move back to here. So we'll move away. These more fighter craft are now moving in as well. So they're trying to hit this, and this is now the when we have a look at the planet here, we do actually have this giant, this planetary giant iron cannon, which if it can sort of start to take down the shielding of these guys, we've got a little bit of iron damage into here, which has actually taken its hyperdrive offline. So and the iron cannons will then sort of do the disabling for different things that are then going to be happening. So they're moving close. Becomes more iron cannons. You can see there, the planets really have they can have a lot of defences now. That one's been hit yet again. Reactor is now offline as well. So there's a lot of stuff on this ship that has now been disabled by the iron cannons. So it's becoming less and less effective by the iron cannons itself. I would like to capture one of these ships, I'm thinking. If we go back to the 8th, we've got 766 there. I wanted to get one of the destroyers ultimately. I'm missing this one all the time. Actually, no, that one's actually really off. Where are these guys going? Okay, they're moving away now. In that case, let's go and take these out. So we go back to the 8th. They're now trying to escape. So I want to go and capture the Myletus Revenge. So that's going to be the job that we then give these guys. This one here is still outside that range. These fighter craft are going to come in though and probably destroy these before we can actually do anything. So they're firing their little Epsilon torpedoes. Actually, they are firing at this one here. So they're bypassing the one that we're trying to capture. And so they're just waiting now. No, here they go. They're now targeting that one, even though we've got the others. They sort of do their own thing. May just be to keep everything under control now. It looks like it's going to... oh no, it seems to be sort of waiting. So small craft are sort of swarming. Well, that's the first big hits for us, so we can sort of see down through there. We've destroyed 2 of their military ships so far. Then we've got a third one. We're getting close enough to hopefully get some troops on board. What I really want is the bubble shields from these guys. Their bubble shields are extremely powerful. And so we definitely want to be getting those. But it can't, it's just, all it can do is limp around. And it's still got impulse drives. But every time it gets any sort of offensive abilities, these other ships will then attack it. But they know not to attack it at this stage because we're trying to capture it. Nope. So something just happened there where it's one of its weapons possibly came back online. Defense is online. Yeah, so one of its defenses is back. That would be shielding. And then the 8th. Just trying to capture it. we should see a crew moving across there fairly soon. Here we go. Alright, that's good. So we'll end up getting this ship. And it's close enough for us to repair directly from the planet. Well, a lot of it's still iron damage. You can see they're disabled. There's a lot of disabling going on. A fair bit destroyed there as well. Alright, they've got it. So it's now under construction. So it's now trying to get fixed up. So I've got to think about what I want to do with this one. We get benefit by sort of pulling them apart. But like a lot of benefit. But it's, you know, ultimately it's fairly strong with what it does do. I think I'll have it be pulled apart. So if I just go and do a long right click, if I select it and then just do a right click, which I can't do it there. We've got to wait for it to be repaired. But I will just set it to manual, just so it doesn't move off. Right, so the 8th has done a good job there. We'll just put them back to defend. And so their job will then sort of be to sit back at card number 5. I might just get them to refuel at card number 5. That way they're all going to be positioned back in and around the system there. But you saw how effective that actually was by using that as was what we're doing. So we've also now got this one going in. It's already been destroyed. Now this is the second fleet, which is set to manual. I want to now move that one back to defend as well. The second, I'll leave that one. Actually, what I could do is I could send the second off to help out over here. We know that the third fleet is now going to be in here somewhere, and we're not going to get there in time, but it would be interesting, wouldn't it, to have like a massive fleet battle. 14,000. I don't know if I can build enough defences at this location to be able to really sort of hold on. We do have the high fighter base there. Yeah, nothing much there. Getting things, for example, like that iron cannon that was just on that planet. It's like this one has also got like different cannons and things as well, which are going to cause a lot of issues for us when we try to take that planet on. That's why we sort of have to get rid of everything they've got first. I think I'll just keep the first and second down through here. This is too important for us to lose this. Yeah, I think I'll just keep that one where that is. So I'll just get the second back there. Okay, so they've actually taken over a planet from the Miletus. Now what this is going to do is very, very quickly, the Miletus is going to start to, their war weariness is going to start to become a problem. You can see there, for us, we're positive because of they declared war in an unjustified way. We've then got the, and if we have a look and see where they are, they're already back down to 0 again. So they're going to be draining away pretty quickly. And once they get down to really, really low levels, it means that their whole economy is going to grind to a halt. And we can sort of hold off as long as we possibly can, just to sort of stop them from being able to do much. And ultimately, we can almost sort of destroy their economy just by keeping them in war, because we can sort of do it better than what they can. We both suffer, but they suffer more. Enemy fleet detected. The 5th Defence Force is that's okay. It's just going after a individual ship. And new destroyer has been completed. This is now, if we just go and show me back and through here, this is it coming out, the destroyer carrier. And so it's now leaving the yard. If we go back to the 7th, so we now have that one through there. Let's just go and build one more if we can. And so we'll just go and throw another one in there. And that should be then being built in here as well. Yes, it is. So that will then be even more small craft coming with the 7th. but we don't know where their third fleet is now. I'm expecting it to land, like to come just after this one arrives. We still have to bounce off this system, and I do want to, if we're bouncing off into here, like the fourth will, oh no, we can bypass this one. I don't think we'll be able to get close enough to see what's actually on the planet, but we'll have a bit of a look and see if we can. So if we can use our spaceports to aid with our defence, that will be helpful. Okay, pause there for a second. 9th Defence Force to prepare an attack. The dreaded gangsters. Yeah, I'll assign that mission. This is just where there's pirates operating in the northern area of where we are. So are we close enough to see? Yeah, we are. So in through here, this planet here has got the big torpedo launchers, which do a lot of damage. They've got planetary bastion as well as a administration centre. They do actually have an admiral that's stationed here for whatever reason. I don't know why, and they've got a few different defences there. So their defence strength is 3,638. Ultimately, we want this world, so this is something we do definitely want to be getting. We don't have great bombardment strength, and so and we probably should be looking to bombard some of these planets. That's the 7th now, moving back off again with only 3 ships left in it. So it's a good start to the war for us. That's elsewhere. These are just news reports coming in. Well, there's 32 fighters already in building. So we have ultimately 40 that we can then go and build. So we're still building 4 in through there as well. And so this is all going to be very, very helpful when the others arrive, because we can just use these fleets to help with that defence. And so we'll sort of micro this one when we do see the third fleet arrive on the horizon. It's going to be a hard fight, this one. Okay, it's just treasure. Okay, I've got war missions. So this one is accept war mission, capture enemy refueling station. I can do that actually, so I'm going to accept that one. What are the rewards? Yep, let's accept that one. And the 3rd Defence Force, which is here, to prepare and attack the Scarlet Emperor. Should be in from this group. Yeah, it is. It's one of these guys. They're trying to go off and refuel at Kafalidma, which is where? So they're sort of out of fuel. They're over here. So I'm not going to allow that to happen because they're not attacking. They're just basically moving through. So this is the 6th Strike Force, which is completely out of fuel. I'm not going to get there in time anyway. So I'm just going to go say no, decline that one. So they just happen to be finishing off whatever they were trying to do in here, but they didn't actually succeed, I don't think. They've actually taken damage. So they were inside a nebula with all that sort of stuff happening. Just keep our forces sort of back where they were. Decline that one again. As long as we don't see big fleets operating in here. New destroyer completed. There we go. So this is good. So we've now got we've got 2 of those different destroyers, and I don't think we've got enough money yet for a 3rd one. just dismiss that one. Send the third. Yeah, so they're wanting us to attack that little fleet of the enemies while they're back in there, but we don't want to do that. So, the fleets we end up having this way, the first, I'm just going to move across. We've got them set to defend, but I want to keep them sort of back in around. We know that they're going to be coming from this angle. Let's just go and move to here. And the 7th is now sort of slowly building up. We've now got 52 fighters, so we're getting a lot of fighters from this particular fleet. And you can't afford to build. I need 11,000 to build that last destroyer. But you can see there, through managing our fleets, it's not asking us to retrofit. It's not automatically going off and doing it. It's keeping all of these carriers like sort of building up. It's building 5 in through there. So there's still a lot of building. It's just slow to build up with what it actually does do, which is fine. And then we've got lots of these little guys just escorting around the place. So there's we're going to have like a lot of fighter craft when this next attack does go in. So we're not going to have anywhere near like the 15,000 that they've got, but we're at least going to be able to do some damage. And that's really what we want to be doing in here. So let's just see how we go. The 7th I might even keep even further back. Let's get the 7th back into here. So here comes the 4th. So it wants to send the 2nd fleet. And I'm going to decline that one. I don't think that we're seeing any other fleets down this way. So I think that they're still wanting us to go and attack these guys. So the 2nd does not want to do that. No. 3rd fleet? No. So the 2nd fleet in through here, it looks like it's maybe too big. Yeah, it's trying to defend too big an area. And the 8th fleet has got a smaller area. So let's just go back to the 2nd and just change its area. So if I go into its tactics for the fleet, and you can see there it's got a 100m range. Let's just go and change that to 50. That way it won't ask me those sort of questions. It's really going to only be looking after this particular system. The 2nd is probably could refuel itself, I think. So while we're there, the 8th, we could send that off to then go and do the capture. We've only got 373 there. The 2nd has got like a lot more. So that's the 1st is got heaps more. Why hasn't the 8th got more? It's only got a small. Oh, hang on. It's just, yeah, it looks like it's used it. Okay, so it's still building it up. If we go back across to the 2nd, which does actually have all its boarding assault strength. So our war target that we have to do is to go and capture this one here. So let's just go and do this. And that's mining station. Where's the target? That's mining. He's down this way. Oh, it is that mining station we were supposed to capture. All right, let's go and do that. So we'll just tell it to go and capture and at 1, which is this one here. So we end up getting more war scores. You can see there we're doing fairly well. We did capture that Miletus Revenge. I do want to go back and just double check on what we can do with that one now. So that one should be repaired. It's still under construction. So it should be in the list in through here. Yeah, so it's actually being constructed here. So it's just going to take a bit of time for that one to kick back in. Let's just leave all of them where they are. And wait for the 3rd. Here it comes. Okay, so here comes the big fleet. Now the 4th will come in and pick up the troops, which is fine. To prepare an attack, Rim Runner. Yeah, no, decline again. It's just looking to try to do all of those different things. I'm just going to decline that one. Now the 4th, on the planet itself. So we're picking up a lot of these troops. Here we go. Third fleet now. We now identified it. Fourth. Now we're pretty much full now. So the fourth fleet has picked up its troops. We've still got a fair few of these. These defend terribly. Like they're really shockers at defending in through here. Let's just go and have a look at some of the others. What have we got? We've got 14 infantry, 11. Okay, let's go back to this one here. I'm just going to tell it to unload troops. Okay, that's now done. I'm just going to go back into the actual troops themselves. So we want to keep those garrisoned, and we want to get all these new guys garrisoned as well. Okay, and that means we can pick up a few more of the others of the armor. All right, so 13 armor there. Still got a few armor that we weren't able to pick up, but that gives us a fairly good defense if there's any sort of invasion that's going to come in. The fourth, I now want to move off and just keep them out of the way because they don't have any real fighting capacity with what they're doing. So if we just go back to the fourth, it does have a strength there. I mean, it's got a little bit that could help with, but not a hell of a lot, to be honest. So I think we're better off just keeping that away from the actual fight itself. Yeah, I think I'll just move it off into space. We're sort of friendly with this. I'll accept that treaty. It doesn't hurt it's not going to cost me anything to get that treaty. There's another fleet. A big collection of ships there. I don't know why. Looks like it stopped. Here they come again. There's more coming in over here. Probably refuelers. They've got four tankers. That's three of the tankers there. Yep, supply tankers. Okay, the 5th Defence Force has been travelling. Let's just have a look to see where that actually is. So we've just got a passenger ship, which is just floating around, actually in the homeworld of these guys. Okay, so we'll continue on and watch this attack go in. So this will be a very, very important attack. What we need to do here is make sure that we try to get as much attrition against them as we possibly can without losing a lot ourselves. So the 7th, and we're in behind the spaceport, which will be our first position really for defence of the actual planet itself. We do have we do actually have the Hive fighter base with the 24 fighters, so they'll be sort of hovering around. We've got the 16 there. The 7th has now also then got the I could try to build that next ship, but it's just going to take too long. So we still have 54 fighters, and I don't know what our total capacity for the fighters will actually ultimately be, but that's actually a good start. And so we'll just sort of keep these hovering around. I might just move this one uniquely back into that position. We'll just wait for these guys to arrive. So the 4th is now moved off. And we'll play this in slow-mo as well. So I'll just read a few of the comments there. Actually, Bollins, there's only one. So the pirate refueling treaties only cost goodwill without empires being friendly with the enemy. Yes, that's pretty much it, really. Look at this. We've got our agent Operative Light has evaded detection after successfully carrying out their mission to steal research information on pulse wave weapons from the Actarians. So this is actually a unique one that the Actarians have got. Pulsed wave. Now, I think that pulse wave is actually is from the Wecarus. If that's the case, that could be an interesting one. I might just dismiss that for a second and see. Yeah, we do have the large pulse wave cannons. This is a bit of a game changer. This allows us to then use Wekaris technology on our ships, but we're not ready yet to do the upgrade. So what I'm going to do is I will actually probably go in and redesign this, because these are incredibly strong. Yeah, I think we'll look at refitting a lot of things with this. Incoming fleet detected. The 5th defense, yeah, that's okay. Just dismiss that one. That's actually just from back at the Miletus homeworld. Let's go back and just do a quick redesign of the ships. So the assault frigate into here. If we just go into edit, got Thuon beams there, which are size 28, and then we have the pulse. We're not seeing them there. Yes, sometimes these will be hidden away. Let's just go and cancel that for a second, and cancel that. Have a quick look and see where we actually are. So if we go back up to the weapons, there it is, right at the very, very top. So it's sort of, so that's it there, Wekaris. So it's only the first level of them. They're not bad. It's size 30, so they're a bit bigger than the other cannons. I think I'll just leave it where we are at this stage. So you can see there we've already gone beyond that to Maxos Blasters, the next level of Maxos Blaster, which is actually okay. This one does 1090 distance. This is 1800. So this is a lot longer range. 1200 for the mediums, actually. That's what we're really comparing. Yeah, interesting. So I'm not sure how good the version 1 pulse blasters will be when you have version 3 basic blasters. Yeah, so I've sort of got like the version 2 in through here. So yeah, I think we'll just stick with what we've got. It's got a little bit extra range on what we've got, but not a hell of a lot. And the damage per second is about the same. Just looking at the mediums there. Yeah, it's very, very similar. So I think we'll just stick with what we have. So we'll just exit the research there, so we don't have to worry about that one. Here comes the big attack. This will be interesting to see what actually happens here. This is going to be carnage, absolute carnage for quite some time. And really we want to let them have a bit of a way of getting in before we start to get too involved. And we'll try to capture a few of their ships if we can. At the same time, we have that fleet still moving off through space. Here it comes. Now, before we have a look, have they got anything? No, there's nothing special. It's just super powerful. But most of that power, to be fair, if we have a look at it, there's nothing really in there that is like offensive wise. That's actually, you know, it's going to rip us apart. What it is, it's just really hard to break through their armor and shields. That's why they're rated so high. So that's their sort of secret sauce, I guess. So we should still be able to use our swarms and so on and so forth and sort of be relatively good with this. Defense force, decline. Yeah, this is going to get fairly frantic. Here they come. All right, so in they come. Now we have, it's a cargo shuttle that's come back in. They're already inside the range. Now we're going to see again the big area of effect attacks go out first, and that's actually okay. So we'll see what actually happens with those, just see if we can sort of get some headway. And then we'll sort of start to, I'm just going to decline that one, just move down to half speed, because we now need to look for our targets. There's going to be a lot of fighter craft, which will now move off as well. So we'll start to sort of see swarms and swarms. I particularly don't really want to see my ships moving off just yet. I'm just going to tell the first to just stay where they are if we can. So I don't want them attacking. See how they're trying to go off and attack. That's within their range. So I'm just going to go and tell them to, first of all, move away. Just keep away from that. And there goes the long-range weaponry. And there goes all the small craft. So I want the small craft involved before we get too involved with our main fleet. It's good we've destroyed those. The escorts from the 7th are trying to move off as well. This one's still building heaps, so I'm just going to move that one out of the way. Now, there should be some attacks which would have gone through with some of the area of effect, but we're not sort of seeing it there at all. Oh, that one did. That one took a little bit of damage. Alright, they're spread out a little bit. Let's go and get our first to start to... in fact, what we'll do is we'll just keep all of these sitting back and initially. There we go. We're now starting to sort of get... getting iron cannons sort of coming in to try to attack their ships. The small craft are sort of dribbling in now, and there's more of them on the way. Let's go in now. So let's, while it's all sort of happening, let's go and start to destroy these things. To attack. They're getting rid of the small craft. Splitting off into two. Under attack. Okay, that's fine. We'll just dismiss that one. Fuel transport, you get out of the way. Heavy escort's going to struggle. But we now have like all of our forces now coming in to help out with this. We just want to focus on getting kills in here. That's now going to start taking iron damage. So first is now moving through. We haven't taken any damage yet, and we are doing damage into here. This one's trying to escape. We'll just keep on trying to attack it. This is a good start for us. There is struggling. It's trying to jump away. It's not going to make it. This is just a. This is from the 7th. Okay, the first one is down. Let's keep on moving through. We've got this one here is still strong. Just looking for the easy targets at this point in time. So they're all fully. They've all got full strength. I don't think anything made it away there. Let's have a bit of a look. No, nothing's escaped yet. So this is good stuff. Good start for us. That one there I thought was damaged. Oh no, that's this one here. It's damaged. Yeah. So let's just finish this one off. I just want to destroy ship by ship. Let's go to this one next. None of the rest of these are sort of all that good. The 7th, we've now got damaged fleet frigates. We're starting to lose some of our escorts, so they're actually sort of in the middle of the fights. But this is a good start for us. We're already up to 20,000 now, plus 20,000. We're sort of this thing is just doing its own thing. It's taken a little bit of a beating to its shielding. Its shielding is like when you compare this whole big, massive starbase compared to the to just one of these destroyers, you can see that 880 shielding as opposed to 500 with what we have. I think it's 550 or something was what our maximum shielding actually is on that thing. So it's sort of their shielding is just super strong. Yeah, even these have got 880 shielding. So let's just continue on. So first is still doing a good job here. We've taken a little bit of damage with some of the ships, but nothing much really. Yeah, just a little bit, but again, hardly get really a scratch for us. Now that's 7th Strike Force again, trying to jump away. It's not going to be able to make it. That one there is 7th as well. A hyperdrive offline. It's going to be that's a fleet frigate. It's lost all of its bombers. The 7th is now down to 24 fighters, so there's still fighters operating. We don't get to see how many are still operating from the planet itself. It always just tells you what the overall capacity is, but not the actual, well, not where they are and what they're doing, which would be pretty cool. But there's still a lot of them back in here. So we have a lot of attack bombers and things which are coming in to sort of swarm some of these guys, and so they're trying to take down the shielding of this particular ship. We'll just keep the first now sort of coming back through and just go towards the middle. Taking this one down. Might capture this one, because it looks like we're now doing fairly well in here. Yeah, we've got troops on board, and we've got enough. That's enough for that one, so let's now just go and leave that one. Go back to the first again, and just keep on damaging these. So we will capture that ship. Can't get it to it. It's there somewhere. Yep, this is now ours. The Fearless Crucible. So this is a... actually, no, sorry, that's not it. Yeah, it's just too much going on there. Looming Justice. No, it still hasn't fallen, but very, very close. So we will end up with that one, which will be good. That gives me another one of their ships, which we can then either add to our fleets or pull apart for tech. First is still doing very, very well here. They have not actually technically killed any of our ships. They're very close in here with these two ships. So there's a couple of ships there that they will get some of it back, but our ships are so cheap and nasty anyway, it really doesn't matter. And that one there is the one that's sort of suffering. If you don't micromanage the fights, they'll split up and hit whatever targets they think are important, but I like to finish ships off. Disabled now, it really can't do anything else. Let's just move to one of the other ships. You can see there the swarming that we have is working fairly effectively. Third fleet, well, this is the one that we're dealing with. So that's where it's trying to reach the planet, which is not going to happen. But this is really important, this particular fight, because this is their main battle fleet, and every time I give them an order, certain ships just won't escape. So this one here, this heavy escort, is going to struggle. This raider is starting to, this destroyer is starting to lose a bit. Actually, these are all my named ships. I should actually check these. There's so we've got none of the destroyers are named. It's Fenmore. Fenmore is actually still okay. Lost a little bit down through that side. I've got Admiral von Schweinhund on board. So just see if Fenmore's in the chat. So if that ship dies, then Fenmore gets banned. Then we've got von Schweinhund as well. I'm not sure if von Schweinhund's in the chat. Yes, he is. So he will also then get banned if that ship gets destroyed. So that's the ship right in the very middle of the attack in there, but they're doing okay. Going back to the others, none of the destroyers have been named. Voodoo Dog is the heavy frigate, which is back out through here, which is in a lot of trouble. Voodoo Dog is not in chat. Okay, so that one may sort of end up being destroyed. Supreme Vendetta is not named. Got a few of them that are named in here. That's it, I think. Okay, so that's all we have named in that particular fleet. So it won't be the little ships won't be named. So Voodoo Dog does look. This is Voodoo Dog out through here. May struggle in this particular fight. It's being targeted. Actually, it didn't mean specifically targeted just yet. Let's just go back to the first again. So we are attacking this one here. That's almost destroyed. It's down to 2%. They're still staying in the fight, which is unusual. I thought they would have jumped by now. That one's under construction. This is the one that we control. So this is now under our we've got a crew on board building that one up. That one's also taken iron damage and is almost down now as well. So it's been disabled. Let's just keep it going. So this one in here is also now reactor is offline, so it's disabled. I think we'll just keep it going. Like if it's got the reactor offline, it really can't do anything with its weaponry all that much. So just go back to the first and just keep on hitting these different things. Attack the turmoil, which is still got full strength. Some of the others back over here, I think, are starting to take a little bit of damage. No, they're all fairly strong. Our station here has now lost a little bit more shielding, but it's still actually very, very strong. Now, where is Voodoo Dog? Every time I give it an order, it means that Voodoo Dog can't escape. We have enough. That was another big iron cannon, and this one has taken a little bit of iron damage with one of its weapons, and that one as well with a weapon as well has been sort of hit. What about our ship? This is from the 7th. The 7th is sort of struggling here. They're trying to now escape. If we have a look at the 7th, I've only got 8 fighters left. I think we might move them out of here now. They've sort of done their job. Just move them out of the fight. So they're mainly for raiding anyway, but they did a good job just for helping initially with what was going on. Just keep the first in the spaceport to do what they can do. That one's attacking our fuel transports. I think I'll just let the first now just manage itself. That way ships will escape when they can. So if I don't give them orders, they will now just automatically do what they do. And so anything that's damaged will then jump away. Here we go. So we've actually now got this guy. His Agent Putor has detected us successfully carrying their mission to steal research information on improved missiles from the Miletus. While the mission succeeded, he was exposed. That's okay. That will then make it a little bit more difficult. So we now have the concussion missile version 2, which will give us more range on the actually no, we're not using concussion missiles. We're using torpedoes, which is still actually okay. Okay, this one here is should start to run very, very soon. It's now taking damage. It needs to get away. So most of the first has now moved out away from the fight. So we'll just leave the base and the rest of these guys. So we've now got the there's damaged. It's now trying to escape. I'll let it escape. Okay, defend important refueling station. This is Consolidating 7. So let's see where that actually is. That's not the one that we're attacking. No, I still haven't gone in there yet. Consolidating 7. There's no way we can defend that. This is already an outpost of the enemy. So that's not going to happen. Yeah, it's going to be too difficult, so I'm just going to say no. That means that there would be some sort of attack force going in to target that one now. I could send the second back, but it's just going to mean I've got a massive fleet tied up protecting that particular one. Now their third fleet, if you have a look at the third fleet and just sort of see, they've still got all of their fuel tankers, but they're down to just 2 destroyers. And some of these, like health 98%, that one there is sort of jumping away as well. So we're now starting to see damage done to these guys. I think that they're now trying to move off. away from this fight. There's still got a lot when you look at the colours back and through here, but we do actually still have the spaceport to help attack these different ships. So the first, that one there is under construction. So it's trying to help itself and fix itself up. We are being attacked in different areas. Yeah, I think most of ours will now try to escape, I think. Just see if what they're going to do. I might send everyone back in again in just a second. Because they're struggling. They're very powerful. Like they really do fight well. So they've now had enough, and we're now up to 30,000. They've only destroyed one of our ships, to be honest, and that's another ship. It's not even one of the. Looks like everyone has sort of managed to get away. We've got a fuel transport there, which is part of the first defence force, which is struggling. So they've now had enough, and now want to sort of come back in. Yeah, so we certainly have like they're not going to be able to take this. In fact, our shielding is coming back up online again. So they're offering to end the war. Now, this is just an immediate end, and we don't have any war weariness yet, so I'm not ready yet. And if we have a look at them, let's have a look and see what they're up to now. So the Miletus, they've now got -2, so they've gone from +5 to -2, while we've actually just pretty much stayed at 0. Well, pretty much 0. No, we've still got +4.1. So we can stay in this fight, and what I want to do is I want to grind them into the dust, sort of. I definitely want to try to take that other planet if I can. It would be very, very cool to get that one. But it may be difficult for us to do it. We may need to get a couple of fleets to go and do it. But taking out their third fleet like this is a very important start. And that one is being targeted. First defence force trying to move away. There's been just too much damage here. It's got no more interceptors or bombers left there. The 7th is back up to 16 fighters. Just keep them where they are. We still need to build another destroyer there if we can. Oh, here we go. So now we have another attack going in. So they've got 2 fleets in here. They've got the 7th, which we had actually done some damage to before, and they've got another defensive force in through here, the 8th. So they've got 2 relatively strong. This one's got 5,000 strength, and this one here has got still 2,000 strength. Now the 2nd is coming in here. He's ready to be able to go and try to capture another. Well, he wants to capture the mining station. So we're now going to have to deal with this. I think that we sort of are at the end of the fight in through here now. Like there's bits and pieces all over the place. Where are we? There it is. They still have a bigger presence than we have in around here. But I'm just going to let the ships escape and try to get away. In the meantime, we'll actually now go and have a look. So there's carnage everywhere. So the first has been able to escape with all of their different troops. This one's still trying to get its shielding and back up. It will then start to repair. Let's not get them back in the fight. Attrition-wise, we're doing well. So let's just leave it that. So that's why at the end there, I didn't bother attacking because I wanted my ships to escape if they could. So that still works for me. Their fleet back in through here is still set to attack, but they do have some of their ships now floating around in other areas, like their refuelers are sort of just positioned and hiding away. Not really going to worry us too much. Let's just leave it where it is. The 7th, I think that this will be able to defend itself. I'll keep on having a bit of a look back at this one. So if we just go back to the 2nd. So this is this fleet now moving in to attack this. So let's now change its job to capture to actually go and kill these things off. They don't have the same big defenses that we have. Yeah, so this offering to end the war is, we're going to decline that because we're not ready yet. We've got more grinding to do to. So we captured a couple of their ships, which is a good start. I really want those bubble shields. Actually, sorry, before we do that, are you ready now? I still can't give it orders yet. So it's still under construction. Actually, you can just do retire. I'll just tell it to retire at card number 5. So we want to pull it apart for parts. And back in here, we'll just double check, see how we're going. So there's still ships in around here. Some of them are disabled. Looks like they've managed to destroy that other ship that was there. Yeah, one military ship. I think it was their own ship that they destroyed, ultimately, which is a bit of a shame. I would have liked to have kept that one. I don't think there's any other ships. Yeah, these aren't going to be able to do much. Yep, no, they're not doing a hell of a lot here. So we've only got like 4 ships left over in this area. 2 of them are struggling, one of them's not. So I think it's the second that's going to be the important attack in through here now. We can still capture those wrecks a bit. We could, if we could get forces down that way, but I don't think the first has got any. Oh, it's got 400. That may be enough. Anyway, let's keep on going through here now. Attack that one relentlessly. Start. Might even switch this one around. Attack. What is that ship? Heavy escort. Yeah, so it's only a small ship. Destroyed. Then we'll just keep on going. So the second again. We'll just go this way. Try to stop these torpedoes coming in. Now they've got the 5th Defence Force. That's at their home base. We don't have to worry about that one. In this case, the 2nd, we've taken a little bit of damage there. It's not enough to worry about it. Actually, we've got named ships in here too, I think. Where are we? No, we don't. I know one of the other fleets has got like a fair few. Is it the 3rd? Nope. Might be the 4th. The 5th won't be. The 8th, potentially. No, we don't have that many named ships. That's okay. So it's mainly the 1st. Got the same defences, it's just that these got more firepower, so I'm going to sort of try to focus a little bit more on the destroyers. So So the swarms are certainly doing their job, which is good. Alright, another one down. Grab that one next. Now, I'm going to let them run now. So after this attack, I'm not going to give them any orders. And so what they'll do is they'll just start to escape after they've had enough of the fight. So just get rid of this guy here. And then after that, they'll all start to disappear. Starting to sort of move away now. They're jumping away. It's jumping away as well now. Actually, there's Sev. So we do have named characters in this one. They just outclass us, that's the trouble. Get away, get away, get away. Got away, good. That one's away. So our guys are still, if you have a look at the second, they've still got a big force in here. And we are sort of now doing damage to a lot of their ships. Yeah, so we're certainly doing the damage here. That's good. That's another 2 fleets that we've now destroyed as well. We're up to 47. We've only destroyed 1 military ship ultimately. That one's still going strong. As is that one. That one's not. There's no real point capturing their ships in here because I've got no way to bring them back quickly and repair them. Okay, I've got the 8th. Where's that one? Okay, new fleet has now arrived. The 8th Defence Force. Is that a new one? Or is it still the same one? I think it's still the same one. Alright, looks like the 2nd has now been defeated back in through here, but we haven't lost ships, and that's really the important thing. And we did a lot of damage to them. So they've now got the battlefield, but it's a bit of a Pyrrhic victory for them. So 2nd, I'm just going to tell them to go back to refuel and repair at Cardamom 5. So let's get out of there. We're not going to be able to do that mission. I thought that was going to be an easy one, but just dismiss that message and decline that. Okay, so there we are with that one. Let's go back to the Shidar system and just sort of see how we're going in here as well. So back into this other side, everything is now, the fight is over here. This thing has now been healed back up again. There's lots of loot left over so we may be able to scavenge tech out of that as well. Let's just go back to the 1st and tell them to go and refuel and repair at Epierre. And we do actually have we've lost 2 fuel tankers. It should show up in here. Maybe that's the other ships that were destroyed. So we've lost our fuel tankers from this side. 2nd is moving off to refuel and repair at Cardamom 5. The 7th can also refuel and repair at Epierre, so they can just move back into the system. So the 1st is moving to repair at Epierre as well. So we'll just move them back in. So that was a success for us. It was an interesting battle actually. So all of these are now moving off. These are the remains of their 3rd fleet, which has got an unknown mission. We can just sort of watch to see where they try to limp off to. They're moving off in this direction, which is interesting. But yeah, so we now actually have like a a lot of our ships which now need to be repaired. So I've actually run out of time today, guys, but that was a interesting little fight. So the second will now make its way back home again. The 8th is still sitting back there, just we need to keep a strong defence back that way as well. We do have an invasion force ready to go down into the Citadel system, but we're just not ready for that one just yet. Location maps recovered. So we're going to find a lot of loot from this fight with what's left over here. So that defence was effective. Yeah, that was good. So Miletus will, their war weariness should be now going, it's now mild, -3. That will get up there. That will start to sort of become more and more of a problem for them. And eventually they'll sort of give us a lot of concessions. They've taken another world there. That's interesting. I'd sort of prefer to get rid of those worlds. So here we go, look at this. They're the ones moving back away that were in this system in through here. But anyway, I do need to leave it there, guys. So thanks for watching. Great game, this one, and you can sort of see there it's quite intricate, but it's sort of like it's not frivolous. Like you do need to be at the right locations at the right time. They brought enough defences there to be able to stop me, but I still managed to kill off a lot of their ships. So we've destroyed 14 of their ships and one base at this stage. Ultimately, now that we've destroyed so many of their ships particularly from that 3rd fleet, we're going to be able to start to just push a little bit harder. Our money means we can't really go and build any more ships, but but overall, the fleets that we have, we should be able. We've got 2 spare fleets out in here. So we've got so we've essentially got 3 large fleets and 1 raiding fleet. So I'm going to set the 7th to just go off and raid fairly soon. And I can then just keep on using the 2nd or the 8th to just keep on also pounding away inside this territory. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back next week with Distant Worlds, or tomorrow with don't know what I'll be playing yet. We'll see what it ends up being. I'll catch you guys then. Thanks for watching.